know what I hate? I hate whiners, you know? I hate people who just complain. I had a guy in a joint one time, cell next to me, and he used to yap about everything. He used to yap about the food, and yap about the guards, and yap about this, and yap about that, and yap all night long. Fucking yap. Like a fucking 747, you know what I mean? Like an engine stuck right between your ears, and you can't get away from it because he's right next to you, you know what I mean?
Love y'all, boys. Love you. Love you. I'll go to war with every single one of you, every fucking game, all right? Love you, 1-7. Here we go! 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3! Win!
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have me douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud, it be raining now. I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
It's showtime.
Welcome to Friday Night Lights. I'm your host, Tommy, to the highest degree, to the TOP from the 313. And by my side is my main man, Mr. Dustin from Cold Front Buffalo. What up, Dustin?
Tommy, how are you, my friend?
Man, I'm good, bro. It's Friday. You know what I mean? I got my weekend all scheduled out, which is just being lazy at home, bro. I don't know about you. Oh, that's right. You didn't tell me. You got the kids. You're getting gearing up for baseball season. Look at Dustin over here getting ready.
Man, doing what we can. You know, I'm just trying to be dad of the year.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
This is a big season for us. 12 and 9-year-old boys. Baseball started this past week, and it's full blown. It's very, very busy. In the spring and summer here with two kids that are a couple years apart, so they're not on the same team. So we are in every direction you can think of every day.
All right. Okay. We may have got. I'll get to the chat in 1 second. We may have Captain D coming on later. You guys know him from AFC East Shakedown. He's the Dolphins fan. Boo. But it'll be good to get him on here to talk with him about his team and kind of see where he thinks his team is heading and all that good stuff. So always good to hear from, a different fan base, especially in the same division. Let's get to some of the chat real quick. And guys, by the way, Dan was supposed to be on the show tonight, but unfortunately things got, in the way from him coming on tonight, but he will be on here in 2 weeks. So May 1st, I believe is the date, Friday night. 8 p.m. So I will reschedule that with Dan. I already did, actually. So 2 weeks from now, basically the following Friday after the draft, guys. So sorry about tonight, but hey, I got Dustin on. Weston coming in.
Choice.
yeah, obviously. Weston coming in Friday Night Lights, baby. That's right. I roll up often. What up, man? I know I got some people over here from Post Podium Podcast because they are not live tonight, or they weren't live earlier. They were taking a little R&R, which I don't blame them. Man, guys, if you don't know, doing this podcast thing, man, can be grinding, and everyone needs a break sometimes. So I don't blame them, man. So Kincaid, what up, Tommy and Cold Front? What up, man? I'm guessing I think I saw him on your channel today, right? So glad to see him, man. Glad people are coming over from Cold Front. And by the way, guys, if you haven't gone over to Cold Front, go over there and subscribe to his channel as well. He's doing good things over there. New channel, and he's growing pretty fast. So go over there, support him when you get a chance. Weston Brewster, Chiefs fan in the house, believe in Beane Island. He knows what's up, right? Like, look, man, there's not a lot of us right now on Believe in Beane Island, but it's starting to fill up. I think they're starting to understand what's going on right now in Buffalo, and they're liking the moves or the direction that this new regime, I guess you could call it, is under. I like it, man. I like the direction. I'm excited for it. And that's why I just don't understand why people are so kind of like feeling negative or Debbie Downers about this upcoming season when they should be truly excited, because there's a lot going on for the Buffalo Bills heading into 2026. So I don't get it. But it is what it is, man. Robert, good evening, Tommy and Cole from Buffalo. What up, Robert? That's my dude right there. Robert always showing up. Roy Collins in the house. What up, Roy? Sandra in the house. What up, Tommy? To the top. That's right. Mr. Dustin and Mafia. Tommy, keep up with the chat today. I try my best. I roll up. Yo. Hey, you know who says yo? Scott Hall. Yo. Roy, Dan Mitchell, just as well. Hey, Roy. Hey, Dan's my dude, man. Come on now. Believe in Beane Island. Damn right, Believe in Beane Island, man. So as you guys know, I'm their president and the founder. And you know who's rocking with me on Believe in Beane Island? This guy over here, right here, Cole from Buffalo. Dustin is rocking with me. Dan Mitchell is rocking with me. There's quite a bit. Mikey, you know, we're getting a lot of people, like I said, man. And if you don't get on ship, if you don't come over, then you're gonna be too late, and it is what it is. You're going to be drowning trying to get over. So I'm all caught up with the chat. All right, good. See, so you guys can't complain. All right, now let's get into what's coming up next week, Dustin, which is the NFL Draft 2026. NFL Draft, that is. Not the most exciting draft, I got to be honest with you. This is, for me, at least how I look at it, is very depth heavy kind of draft, which isn't a bad thing. But if you're trying to get a instant playmaker, I think you're going to have to trade up at some point. You're going to have to get in the top 15 to get one of these guys. Jordan Tyson, it came out, it was reported today that it was like 20 something teams went to visit him in a workout. So and we were one of them, but once again, where are we picking? 26. A lot of these teams that we're looking at them were way higher than us in the drafting process on the board. So if we're trying to make a move like that, clearly we're going to have to be aggressive and trade up because it seems like that kind of talent, he's already has a lot of eyes on him, right? So, and then the other problem, Dustin, and I'll ask you this, is I know a lot of us, including myself, probably would like to trade down more than likely if there's really nothing there at 26 that we really love. Problem is, how many teams are willing to trade up to get that 26 spot? There's not a lot of usually when teams are trying to trade up, it's for a premier player, right? A position that is like a quarterback or receiver edge. There's not a lot of premier. They're going to go early. So can the Bills even make a trade? Will they get a trade partner to move up to 26 is the question. What do you think about that, Dustin?
Yeah, I think it's going to be difficult. And I think nothing's really going to happen until this is my opinion, until the Bills are on the clock at 26. So because there's so many different ways this thing can shake out, I think that nothing is going to really be in the cards until the Bills are on the clock. Now, the first idea that was floated around was the likes of the New York Jets and going after Ty Simpson as their quarterback. Obviously, this year quarterback have whatsoever. So if somebody needs a quarterback and it's not the Las Vegas Raiders, then they'll probably have to trade up in some fashion. But is Ty Simpson going to be a top 20 pick? No. So that would probably suit the Buffalo Bills for someone potentially squeaking up to maybe go after someone like him. Now, there's also, I see, it seems like every day things change, including Mr. Tyson that you speak about, Jordan Tyson. He was setting the world on fire, and then he was almost a day 2 guy, and now this workout comes out, and now he's almost a top 5, top 10 pick. So things
Seems
are
like
changing every single day. That's why I say this year more so than years past, I feel that it's literally going to be no one has a freaking clue until the day of and until names start getting announced. And then you're going to have ideas and thoughts, but I don't think anything's going to be really set in stone. I mean, hell, honest to God, Tommy, and I don't know what you feel about this, and it just doesn't have anything to do with the Bills.
Yeah.
But after that contract with Kirk Cousins, would I personally be surprised if the Raiders don't even draft Mendoza? I mean, I literally wouldn't be that surprised.
It's wild, but Atlanta did that, though. So it's not that wild. Atlanta drafted Michael Penix after paying Cousins, right? So
Same
it's
guy.
not
You're right.
impossible, right? And
Correct.
I don't think for me, look, man, I'm a Hurricane fan. I saw Mendoza obviously go against my Canes. Look, I'm not saying he's going to be a bust in the NFL or anything like that, but I just don't know if he's going to be a great franchise quarterback in the NFL. I could be wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times. I just don't see it with him. And this draft in general, like quarterbacks are just, it's really the last 2 years. And I'm a big Cam Ward fan. I still think he has potential, but even last year's quarterback draft class was weak. Next year's a lot better.
Yeah.
That's where I kind of, to be honest with you, I can maybe potentially seeing a team in the top 10, top 15 that needs a quarterback going, not sold on any, right? Mendoza's probably going to go 1. And after that, that's it. But next year's draft class, what if we trade just to get back in, get another number 1 pick, and then you have 2 first round, and then you can draft a quarterback and a better quarterback. So draft class, right? And then you're just building up draft capital. That maybe I could see, and that might favor maybe the Buffalo Bills if they're trying to be aggressive to go get somebody in the top 15, top 10. I'm just pointing that out.
Exactly. If they're trying to go after Jordan, then that's how they do it.
That's how they do it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So I could see that. Also, there's the Dexter Lawrence stuff that's floating out there. The Giants supposedly, everything I've heard, they want to get the deal done prior to the draft. Which I get it. It makes sense because then they know where they're they know where they're drafting whoever they trade for, what pick they can do their homework research on whatever player they're going to draft at that selection or want to draft. So I get they want to get that deal done prior to the draft. For me, dude, look, it's probably going to cost a 1, right, for Dexter Lawrence. I mean, I'm more than likely. But here's the problem. If they do that, then the Bills don't have a first or a second, and they're not going to draft till the 3rd. So if I'm Beane and exactly right, pretty much every pick we're at the end of every round, right?
Correct.
But if you do that, for me, I would think Beane would have he would have a plan to trade up to get back into the second to at least acquire one of these receivers that's going to fall in the 2nd round somewhere. That would be my thought process of it. What's your thought process if they were to trade for a Dexter Lawrence, lose out on that first, and then they don't have a second? What should the Bills do? Should they just stay at 3? Should they maybe trade again, or should they trade for another receiver potentially? Like, there's a lot of options, Dustin, for me in this draft class. Once again, we talk about it's kind of a depth draft class. Does Beane trade again for a receiver? Like one of these guys that are out there floating around, Brian Thomas Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr., right? And trade next year's first and just really just kind of scrap this draft and just have a couple, maybe day 3 picks instead where he's kind of hit. Like, what's your thought process on that? Do you think he should be super aggressive and just go out and get guys that are already proven?
First of all, I think that it's somewhat telling to us 2 things. The amount of personnel that is going out to these workouts for these high profile individuals and or the 30 visits that they're having the Casey Concepciones of the world in for a 30 visit. Now they're going to Jordan Tyson's personal pro day workout. these are both guys that you're certainly not planning on taking at 91. So there's a lot of effort and energy being put into these guys that would absolutely require bare minimum 26th pick. And for Jordan Tyson, most likely, like what we just spoke about, was trading up for him. So I'm actually a little nervous that the first pick idea of the Buffalo Bills right now seems to be wide receiver. But I'm going to throw another wrinkle. I don't know if you noticed this. Just a couple of days ago, there was some photos that came out of Deon Walker looking to me like he lost 20 to 25 pounds. 6'7", 310 instead of 6'7", 330 is not a nose tackle. It simply is not. Deon Walker's not a nose tackle. He's not, anyway, though. But he played there all year.
He did.
He was asked to do things that he really shouldn't be doing.
Correct. The problem with him is
now in this new defense. Oh, go ahead.
Top heavy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you. Problem with Deon Walker is he's a big guy, but he's top heavy. He doesn't have a lot of, he doesn't have the big legs on the bottom, right? So top heavy doesn't really work for a nose tackle, right?
And when you're 6'7", the leverage point getting under the pads of a 6'2" center or guard is not that easy.
Correct.
To get your leverage and maintain your gap integrities and not get pushed off the line as a nose tackle is very hard for a 6'7" human being, especially if they're top heavy. So my point is, if he's losing weight, clearly that's a game plan, and the Buffalo Bills front office know that he's doing this. And then the Dexter Lawrence comes into play. I do not think that wide receiver can be a play because Deon Walker cannot play nose tackle. He's going to have to move out to that 3 or 4 eye set, which I think, again, is where he should be. But then who in the world is playing over center? Now, Dexter Lawrence, okay. I was a big proponent of DJ Reader in the last 3 weeks leading up. Nothing's going to happen prior to the draft now anymore, but he's a much lesser expensive guy. So you're going to have to give up draft capital. And I'm looking at Lawrence's contract here too. I mean, he's due to make 15 roster bonus, about $18 million next year that the Bills would have to absorb. Now there could be an extension and a restructure. They can finagle things for sure, but we don't have that kind of money. They didn't even restructure Deion Dawkins yet, and that's going to give you 11 to 12 million. They're sitting at 12 now. That's 24 total. I personally feel it's going to be about 10 for the draftees, and we still have holes that you'll have to fill for free agency, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So I don't think Dexter Lawrence works. Period. That's my take.
Okay, that's a strong take, and I don't think you're alone in that, by the way.
I'm talking financially. I'm not even saying I'd love to have the man on the team. Obviously.
No,
I
get it.
Love it. I just don't think
I get it. I'm gonna get to some chat and I'm gonna respond to that because I have a little different take on that. No faith in Beane, but we'll see how the season turns out. Chat, do me a favor, because I do want an honest question. Why? I want to know why Brandon Beane has made you hate him so much or think that he can't, be a good GM for this team and make this team a Super Bowl caliber team. Like what I want to know your reasoning outside of receiver, by the way, because everyone's going to probably go to that first, but what else has Brandon Beane done that you feel hasn't gotten this or hasn't given this team an opportunity to make it to a Super Bowl? Because I disagree with a lot of you guys. I believe he's done enough where this team should have at least gotten to 1, if not 2 Super Bowls under Sean McDermott. If we would have gone, let's just say 13 seconds never happens, guys. That year we go, I'm telling you guys, if we beat the Chiefs, we go to the Super Bowl that year. Are you guys still saying Brandon Beane didn't put together a good caliber team? Because I don't think you are. You know what I mean? So that's just my opinion. But tell me what else has been done that you don't like. I'm just curious because I do want to hear from you guys on that. Because man, I just don't. For me, I'm not saying he's been perfect. He's obviously done some things where even I have said, you know what I mean? Like you got to do better in free agency. You can't pay that player too much. 1-year contract for Joey Bosa. I remember when he signed him, I told Mikey, I'm like, yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I didn't like it. So I know you guys think like, because I'm the believe in Beane Island guy and all that stuff, that I'm always pro Beane, but that's not true. Like I've done videos about how I was not happy about him not trading at the deadline or being more aggressive at the deadline for a receiver. I've gone on record about free agency, how I just feel like he's kind of failed in that department or overpaid players where, I think a lot of us already knew or already had red flags up about that player, and we were paying a little bit too high. Larry Ogunjobi comes to mind last year. You knew he was suspended. You still paid him. And a guy that was kind of, not playing his best football anyways, right? So it's like, and you give him that kind of contract knowing he's not going to play, and it was just a waste of money. So, same with Joey Bosa. He just 1 year, $12 million out the door. He started great, but kind of just faded away. And to me, it's a waste. Yeah, and you should have known. They should have known better, and they didn't. But let me get some more of these. How do you feel about the Bills getting Dexter Lawrence? And we just talked about with Dustin. I'm gonna give you my opinion in a minute. I believe in Beane as much as I believe in Bigfoot. See, I told you. We'll see how he does in this draft when McDermott not around us.
Not around there.
The 2013 quarterback draft class is probably the worst I've ever seen. Maybe there's been some bad ones. I'm going to tell you right now. Since my PPP peeps have a Friday night off, dropped to see what nonsense is happening on Beane Island tonight. That's good. That's good, Slim. I appreciate you. Yeah, I'm the total opposite of post podium podcasts. You're not going to hear that Beane slander over here. We got Roy coming in. Roy with the comment says, let's see here. Tommy, why say sorry? You cut everyone off.
Oh, excuse me.
Wow. I don't know. So, let's see here. Weston, Roy, come on. Believe in Beane Island. That's right. It's right. Dwayne Carter, he's our Dwayne Carter. That's another one. It's just, geez. Weston, how much Tommy paid you to? Look, man, Weston knows the deal. I think Weston is the VP for Beane. He might be. He's definitely. I got him doing something. He's going to be something on Beane Island, even though he's a Chiefs fan. We got him doing something over there. Beane sucks at drafting wide receivers. History will probably tell you that, but we're going to go through the actual draft class, and then I kind of disagree a little bit because we got some that actually worked out. He had literally put us in cap hell. By the way, this is Jarek, good guy. Go check out his YouTube, Jant Sports, friend of the channel. He had literally put us in cap hell. We are top 3 in the league with the highest paid receiver group. Won't include more. Josh contract hasn't even kicked in yet, and we'll talk about that too. No real hit in free agents either. That I agree with. Concepcion or Tyson are not hard picks for Beane this time around if they're there. Trade up for TJ Sanders. Listen, TJ Sanders is still a question mark. I'm not going to start naming players from last year bust. Just let's start there. But if you don't believe in him, that's fine. And maybe he doesn't work out. Other than wide receiver, really, that's one of the biggest faults. He's overpassed free agency, blah, blah, blah. So, okay. All right, man. See, I told you, man, they're out. Free agent blunders haven't impressed me at all. Some of this, his draft picks are just meh. All right. Hey, we're going to go over the draft picks too. And I, once again, disagree. He ain't going anywhere. I put the 1 year vet minimums, the conservative trade approaches, the cap hell that we're in. Some of the draft decisions are questionable on day 2. Man, I'm really behind. The roster right now isn't a Super Bowl caliber roster. I disagree. And now we're working with the draft with limited draft capital, picking the back end of these rounds. I don't agree with you on the roster not being a Super Bowl caliber roster. I don't. We're actually 3rd right now in Vegas odds. So, I mean, I know that doesn't mean anything, but they're usually close enough where. Does. Right. Tommy, can we get on old brother? I got Sting. See, I got to get one of those. And we already called about Lawrence already. The Packers, Bengals, and Bears are also teams that make calls. Sure, we're not the only ones. I get that. You know that. I listen. The reality is, and that's why also I laugh when people are like, when trades are made and we didn't, make the trade. People are always like, oh, we didn't get on the phone. How could Brandon Beane not give up whatever? How do you not know he didn't call? There's plenty of teams that call. they're going to take the best deal that's on the table. So, the Bills are literally not in cap. The wide receiver room is 7. The cap spending at free agency, if you include the tight end room, it's lower. The Bills O-line is 21st spending since 2023. Jance, the Bills are 2nd or 3rd in Super Bowl odds. Exactly. So now I'm caught up. So hear me out. On the Dexter Lawrence, and then we're going to get into all the Beane talk and all that crap. Dexter Lawrence, for me, I think they're holding this Deion Dawkins restructure on purpose. It's there as a last resort. If there's something that's there and we have to do it, they have it available, right? It's kind of like it's stuffed in his back pocket. He doesn't want to use it, right? And clearly, right, because he's an older player, you're going to restructure. Now you're paying him more down the line. But if there's a player you can't pass on, and it's going to take that, it's in his back pocket. With that being said, Dexter Lawrence, if you got a player like that, guys, it instantly makes that D-line better. Instantly. There is no questioning about it. There's no drafting a defensive tackle or nose tackle or one tech and going, will this guy get up to speed? Will he work out? You know what you're getting in a Dexter Lawrence, right? I mean, he's one of the best in the NFL for, that's why his contract or what he wants, reflects that, right? So for me, I get it, but we're in a window here. And this is how I see our team. I don't give a shit about the cap space in the future, guys. I don't. For me, right? I don't give a fuck. For me, you got about 4 years to figure it out here. You get a guy like that, you're instantly boosted up in your odds to win a Super Bowl or go to a Super Bowl, right? The more playmakers you got, obviously the better opportunity, right? And for me, it doesn't matter because if we get the ultimate, the ultimate goal is a Super Bowl. Listen, if we're bad for a couple of years because we're going through some cat nightmare and we got to, play that game like the Rams did, right? After they won the Super Bowl, who cares? Who cares? Nobody cares. I don't care, right? Because we haven't got a Super Bowl here, guys. It's time for me, the moment is now. You have to eventually go all in. You can't worry about the future so much all the time when you haven't accomplished anything yet. At least how I see it. So getting a guy like Dexter Lawrence immediately fills that void. You don't need to worry about it anymore. It's set. He's here. And yes, he's going to cost about probably 28 and a half a season. But he's still 27, 28? Still a younger player. I would do it. I don't know if it's going to happen, guys. But I'd be on board for it. Absolutely, I would. Because once they get him, they'll go ahead and redo his contract. By the way, if they do, it'll give us back about 13 million. So we'll still have 13, 14 million to sign our rookies, to also have some money on the side to maybe get a free agent here, which they usually do after the draft. So I would be all on board for it. All on board. So that's that. As far as like what you guys are talking about, like going back on Beane and all that stuff, like I don't think his draft picks have been that bad. We'll pull them up. We'll talk about it. But I just disagree about, a lot of what your guys' takes are that he hasn't built the right roster over the cap for a reason. Let me ask you something, Dustin, and I'm going to ask you guys chat because I talked about this last week. We had a receiver here, Stephon Diggs, right? We traded for him. You're going to tell me back in 2018, right? And for me, guys, and hear me out here. When you join a team, and you're rebuilding a team as a GM and a head coach, which we were in 2017, and you start that rebuilding process, Dustin, what's the first thing you try to get if you don't have it already? Like on your team, like what's the one is quarterback, right? Okay. So 2017, guys, let's be real. It's kind of a fluky year. We weren't supposed to go into the playoffs. Let's be dead honest here. Okay. Great that we did. Weren't expected to do so. We all know the deal. Any rebuild, guys, it's going to take about 3 years if you do it the right way to get, into the playoffs. And then by the fourth year, you should start seeing some real progress, right? If it's going the correct way. So 2018 comes, Dustin, what do we do? Brandon Beane's first draft.
You get the man.
We get the man. Okay. You guys want to act like it was a for sure thing. Oh, Josh Allen, for sure. Look, no, it wasn't. It absolutely wasn't. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Came from Wyoming, terrible completion percentage. Then the thing came out with the Twitter stuff and all that, whatever. He was not a for sure thing. A lot of NFL experts said Josh Allen will never be a good quarterback in the NFL, never get his completion percentage up. And all of that obviously didn't hold weight. So 2018 came, guys, right? We got Josh Allen. What else did we do in 2019? So the following season. So 2018 was expected, right? Right, Dustin? It was a bad year, which you can expect. You just got your young quarterback. So 2019 happens, Dustin. What do we do in 2019 offseason? Tell me what we do for Josh Allen, because I know you know. What do we surround him with right away? On the offensive side, what does Brandon Beane go out and get?
Well, receivers to catch the football. And then they draft Eddie Oliver, but yes.
So 2019, sure. Yeah. So who do you get? Cole Beasley, John Brown, right?
Yeah, Beasley.
2019. Okay,
and then your deep threat and John.
Brown. Yeah. Okay, right. So right away, what is he trying to do? You're trying to do what? Build around his quarterback, correct?
Around Josh Allen with weapons, yes.
With weapons. While what? While Josh is still kind of growing as a quarterback, right? Still trying to find his way, all that stuff, right? 2019, way better. What do we do in 2019? Go to the playoffs, correct? Correct, yes, right? We don't win the division, but we go to the playoffs. It's the first step. 2020 comes, Dustin. What does Brandon Beane do in the offseason for Josh Allen?
Here he comes, the big man, during COVID, mind you. Like, and what happened right away? Blockbuster, really. That's what it is.
Yeah. That's right. Now, of course, you guys could think about it now and go, oh, Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson wasn't even supposed to fall to us. Philadelphia Eagles totally shit the bed there on that. So we had no idea. And it doesn't matter. At the time, Stephon Diggs was one of the better receivers in the league and a guy that was still young. And we needed a guy like that, a veteran player or still in his prime, joining Cole Beasley, John Brown, builds that team, building around Josh Allen. 2021 comes. What does he add to it? He adds who? He adds another receiver in what's his name? His last year in the NFL was with us, actually. Emmanuel Sanders, right? Adds Emmanuel Sanders,
yes.
Right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, so you're telling me, so from 2019, 2020, 2021, he's building around Josh Allen. He's getting talent. You guys say he's never built, never happened. He's never, when is he? Right there, 3 straight years, he's built around Josh Allen. He's given him a foundation, plenty of weapons, plenty. So much, in fact, that we get to a division game, which we should have won. And boy, was it Brandon Beane's fault? Was it the team wasn't good enough? Guys, we scored enough points to win that game. The defense let us down. Sean McDermott let us down. We lose that game. It's a game we should have won. Guys, that season, 100% we should have went to the Super Bowl if we don't blow that. Okay, so now we find ourselves in 2022, right? And now things are getting a little weird, right? Because I believe this is when, I think that is I believe Dable's still here, or did he leave yet? I think he stays one more year and leaves in 2023, if I'm not mistaken. So Dorsey takes over, right? Dorsey takes over. He's immediately fired, pretty much, right? I believe in 2023 or 2024, right? Because Brady has been OC's. Yeah, 2023, exactly. Yeah. So Dorsey's let go. Brady takes over. It's a whole different mindset, guys, about our offense. You cannot deny the offensive shift was right there. Look at it, right? You went from Brian Dable, who was pass heavy, go down deep, deep ball, 5 receiver sets. Passing game was on point, right? And I get it. You got to be, one thing I wish Dable, when he was here, we would have got a running back. He'd have been a little bit more, running the ball there, but it didn't matter. It's what worked at the time. But what did our coach want to do? He wanted to totally switch the script and be a run first team, tight end heavy team. What do? We draft Dalton Kincaid, right? We're going right? We're 12 personnel, right? Totally different offense than what Brian Dable did. We're taking things away from Josh now, right, guys? Let's be real. I'm going through a time lapse here with you guys. So we're changing the offense. It's showing right in front of your guys' eyes what's going on. So much so, Dustin, that year, right? That Diggs or that Ken Dorsey's fired and Brady takes over. Diggs' number goes down. His production goes down right away. Right away. He's not seeing the ball as much. The ball's going to Shakir. Matter of fact, Shakir in that second part of the season led the receivers in targets.
Yes.
What happened?
Game plan.
Did Diggs just get shitty? Right. Game plan. Absolutely. Everything's safe. Things are going shorter, safer, right? Everybody eats. So that off season, what happens? It gets bad, right? Diggs and McDermott not flowing with the offense. He's not understanding his role on the team. McDermott wants to do what with Diggs? Get him out of town. I don't need that. We're switching the offense. This is what we want. We don't need a one. We need a bunch of guys that we can throw to. Everybody eats. This is what we want. We don't want a guy in the room speaking up. We don't want a guy on the sideline, making his voice heard. I'm the guy that should be the voice heard. He didn't tell Beane, go make sure you get me a number one. Did you ever hear, guys, McDermott ever say, when we got rid of Diggs, I need a number one, right? Beane, go out and get a number one. If he did, I would believe Beane would go out and get a number one. That's how GMs and coaches work. You go out and get what your coach wants, right? Hey, I need a one. I need this. If we're going to get rid of Diggs, let's have a replacement. It's never that wasn't the case, guys. He wanted everybody eats. He didn't want a guy, an alpha in this room. The only time he wanted one was last year when shit wasn't going right again. Yeah, that's the only time he bitched about it. You didn't hear him bitching the year before, right? So
you saw the writing on the wall too.
Saw the writing on the wall.
A little bit, yeah.
What about the dead cap hit that we took on Diggs, guys? Do you realize that Brandon Beane paid Stephon Diggs an extension prior to the release? That he wanted him here? It wasn't like he was playing hardball. Brandon Beane gave him what he wanted. This had nothing to do with money. This was a beef between him and Sean McDermott and the offense, and that what Diggs was a part of. That's the only reason he wasn't here, guys. Had nothing to do with money, nothing to do with Josh Allen. It all had to do with his role on the team. And McDermott saw it as he doesn't fit. He doesn't fit what we want, right? And this is what we want moving forward. So you guys could say Brandon Beane hasn't done this, hasn't done that, no receivers, no help. I'll say this. The only part that you guys may be a little right, and I'll give you this, is he's probably in the 2022 season, 23, maybe should have added some help in the receiver room. I think they put their eggs in the basket on Gabe Davis after the 2021 game and thought he would be the guy in the future for the number 2 spot. We were good. I'll give you guys that. Maybe he should have focused more on the draft and getting some more help, but outside of that, guys, I don't feel like he's never tried to surround Josh with talent. Matter of fact, he went out and got James Cook round 2, right? And we're going to go through the draft because I just don't agree with you guys. So what's your take on all that? And I'm sorry I talk so long, Dustin, but what's your take on all that?
That's fine. I'm with you in many regards. However, I don't think that some of the hate, that's a strong word, but some of the hate is certainly warranted because there are some bad moves. The problem is there's never in the history of football been the perfect general manager either. So we can't expect everything to be absolutely perfect. If you do go through the draft classes there's a lot of guys that stick. There's quite a few that don't and that haven't, but there's a lot of guys that actually stuck in the NFL, some with the Buffalo Bills still, some not. However, I think to me, the biggest gripe is the lack of off-season non-draft moves that Beane has not made and or made that have turned out to be quite shitty. That's where I have the issue. And again, I'm on the side, if I had to pick a side, I'm on Beane's side overall, because I too feel that there have been multiple Super Bowl worthy depth charts and rosters. And I'm being dead serious with that. I think that the majority of the issues that we have, we spoke about this earlier today. I think it was today, or maybe it was yesterday on my channel. Run defense is a problem for me, and soft when it comes to really any time, and then soft, non-aggressive defense in the playoffs in big situations is the other thing that I just can't watch anymore. I simply cannot watch. So my excitement level of what Joe Brady has done with hiring his coaching staff, when he said he was not going to hire friends, he said he was going to hire legitimate coaches, and I hate it's almost like you judge a new head coach like I'm not bringing politics, but like a president. They go on this campaign trail and they say what they're going to do, and then you can kind of judge them based on the first few moves that they've made. Up to this point, Joe Brady has done what he said he was going to do. And bringing in Jim Leonard and the aggressive nature of Jim Leonard, who's publicly said that we're going to be crazy aggressive, I'm so in and I'm refreshed. However, this leads me back to the beginning, which is why every day that I think about this, I tell myself more and more, I just don't see a wide receiver at 26 and then having to wait to 91 to get any hole to be filled on the defensive side of the football. So I am defense right now, because our wide receiving crew and our offense did not go backwards from last year, 2 years, or 3 years ago so far this offseason. It took, in my opinion, leaps and bounds moving in the right direction, with the exception of the loss of David Edwards. And I think we have adequate replacements there, that we've also plugged some holes. I think with the addition of DJ Moore, and people didn't like it, not this guy. I did a film study on my channel of DJ Moore from last year. That is a wide receiver one, folks. I don't know what else to tell you. That is 100%. An absolute legitimate wide receiver one who checks all of the boxes for this Buffalo Bills team. And with that, scoring points are not an issue.
No.
They have never been an issue.
Never been.
The most recent heartbreak of a loss, we turned the ball over 5 times and still hung 30 points on the best defense in the league. Okay, so that's really hard to do.
On the road.
Now, on the road, thank you. And still with a chance to make a defensive stop, which we couldn't do, and then catch a football, which we, according to the referees, we didn't do. And I'm just saying, and I don't feel that the defense needs to be elite all of a sudden. It just needs to be in the top third, and we're pretty much potentially in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's literally where my mind goes, and it's looking at everything. So I'm not saying that Beane is an issue. I will say this: as non-sexy as this draft may seem this year, I think this really is an opportunity for Brandon Beane to make himself shine. Shine.
I'm with you.
It's weird. It's odd. It's later value than most drafts. We spoke about that prior. Not really heavy with what seemed to be all pros, out of the box. But he's really got an opportunity here to make things work. And they can't get this wrong, because you say 4 years, I say we have 3 years. So you have to do it now. You do. And if it means taking Dexter Lawrence in some kind of trade, okay, fine. I don't give a shit either. I'm just saying I don't see how the money works. You have to do a massive restructure. I mean, it can happen. Brandon Beane is good at that, maneuvering monies and making things fit in. Just because we're close to the top echelon of salary cap, I never have an issue with that, because you're allowed to spend that money for a reason. Why would you spend only 50% of it? Spend it fucking off.
Just hold off.
What's the point? What's the point of having the money to spend if you don't?
As long as you got the right guys, though. As long as you're spending it on.
Sure.
Right.
I think I hope
that's
should
the
go
knock.
without being said, but you're right. You're right. You're right.
Right. I think that's and it's a fair knock, right? I agree. Like, I understand that, and I'm with Bills Mafia on that side where he spent way too much on players that were here and gone and it didn't do anything. It didn't move the needle. It didn't get us to a Super Bowl. It was pretty much a waste of money. I get it. Like, I'm with you guys there. And I feel like he needs to do a way better job in free agency. However,
yes,
this free agency, now we don't know yet how it's going to play out, right? We have to wait and see. Like, I'm not going to, but as we sit today, I feel like this is one of his better free agency off season and free agency. I feel like he covered a lot. He got guys that, for me, are guys that can move the needle, and Bradley Chubb, if he stays healthy, of course.
Yeah.
And CJ Gardner-Johnson. I know it's a 1-year deal. Yeah. However, that could be, you never know if they extend him, but for now, he's still a guy that's going to make plays for us. So that's a needle mover. The DJ Moore trade, like you said, I don't get why Bills Mafia is so, torn on it. If he's a true one, or if he's, was worth the trade. For me, dude, I'm with you, Dustin. I don't give a shit about the yards, what he did last year. What I did is I looked just like you as far as the film review. He's a guy that when they needed a play, he was the guy to go to. He was the guy they called on. And that offense, when Ben Johnson first year there, it changed up, right? The formula changed, the offense changed, and that's why his numbers went down a little bit. They had almost the same kind of concept as us, where it's kind of they're spreading the ball around a little bit. But when they needed a play, it was usually 9 times out of 10, DJ Moore. With the Buffalo Bills over the last 2 years, when we needed a play, who was it? Who was it? Nobody. Because we didn't have that luxury. Now we have that luxury. Now Allen can go, okay, give me the play call. DJ, I need you here. I got you, bro. Like, that's what it's about. That's what Stephon Diggs did. Stephon Diggs was that guy. We lost that guy, right? McDermott thought we can get by without having that guy. It didn't happen that way. Now we have the guy in the building, a guy that Josh can depend on, a guy that and by the way, a guy that defenses have to respect, which will help out everybody else on the offense, right? Which what Diggs did, right? So, guys, yes. I'm all in on DJ Moore. And I think for the people that are doubting him or just not crazy about the trade rate, I think he's going to make you understand this season why they traded for him, right? I really, truly believe that. So, and to Dustin's point, I'm with you about the defense. For me, if they don't trade for a Dexter Lawrence or something like that, I'm going defense. I'm going defensive tackle or edge on my first round pick. I am, because the thing is, guys, we lost a ton of defenders, right, in the draft. In free agency. And we're also heading in a different direction as far as defensive scheme goes, right?
Correct.
We need to fill some holes there. We do have some, linebacker, defensive tackle, edge, wide receiver guys. I would love one, but I don't think it's a big necessity. We have a DJ Moore. You have Khalil Shakir, right? And Khalil Shakir is good. So we have a well-rounded team as far as receivers go. Keon is questionable. We'll see what happens to him. I'm not a big fan of Josh Palmer. I won't lie. But you still got Dalton Kincaid, when healthy, one of the better tight ends in the league. Yeah. So we have a good receiving group. But, for me, like I said, man, I feel like defense is where they need to concentrate on, make up for the crap that McDermott had as far as scheme wise and the players that we drafted to fit his scheme.
Yeah.
We need to correct that now. And that's what we're doing. Like, I really, truly believe that. So, and especially if they trade for Dexter Lawrence, it tells you everything you need to know, right? That they knew going into this offseason, we got to fix the defense. Like, let's be real. Like, that's kind of what's been blocking us. That's kind of where we've had fits, right? It's not the offense. The offense has been pretty damn good. So, I'm sorry, I'm going to get to all your chat right now. Marino's legacy, it's obvious obviously wasn't Beane. He extended him, and then McDermott made up the nonsense about Diggs not showing up, and that was a big deal. And that was it for them, by the way. The Bills, according to Over the Cap, has almost $60 million in cap space starting in 2028. It's not trust we're in cap hell. Yeah, once again, I obviously the cap is real and all that, but there's always ways around it. The cap's always going up. The NFL is a powerhouse. I don't see the cap going down anytime.
No.
Like I believe this is going to continue to go up. So don't get too tied up about the money, guys. It's always Brandon Beane's excellent in knowing how to maneuver and work the cap. We need a Super Bowl here. Spend the money, get the players, whatever you need to take, man. Plain and simple. What up, Mikey? It's my co-host here, kicking in with us tonight. Marino's legacy since he he's in a championship. Cincy? I think it means Cincy is in the. No, they're not. I mean, they should be. They spent a lot of money on their offense. Big Papa Bill, what a shame. We keep maxing out our draft picks on defense because McDermott wanted choir boys and dogs, and not dogs like Jalen Carter. It's so repetitive. Beane has to get it right for Leonard, and I agree with that. Mm-hmm. And I believe he will, Dustin. Like, what's your thoughts on this? Because I mean, I believe in this, and I've talked to former players that agree with me, but I want your thoughts anyways. But a GM, guys, it has to work with his coaching staff, meaning whatever players he's getting in free agency, whatever players he's getting through the draft, is guys that they're on board with that fit their scheme. He's not going to go rogue and go get a guy that doesn't fit their scheme. So clearly, I don't think that like McDermott or Beane is going to draft a guy that's not fit for Leonard's system or scheme or a guy that he likes. He's not going to go the opposite direction. That's why I feel like what you're seeing in this free agency with CJ Gardner and Bradley Chubb, like it's already a shift, right? Especially if they get a nose tackle or a true one tech. So that'll tell us a lot on that shift, but I believe that's how it works in the NFL. That's how you get a playoff team when everyone's on the same page. Your ownership, GM, and coach all understand what they want and they go out and get it. And I feel like it was there in the beginning and then something happened and got lost. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, it needs to happen. And we might have shown signs of Bills in the beginning doing that. And then Stefan Diggs, I think, was probably the demise of that relationship professionally, because Stefan Diggs, although has an edge about him, and forget about his off the field stuff, right? Like I don't agree with if he's even close to choking someone like and having, kids with 93 different women. That's a personal thing. But the idea that this team just signed CJ Gardner-Johnson in this offseason out of free agency would have never, ever, ever happened with Sean McDermott being the head coach of this football team. And the knock on CJ Gardner-Johnson is that he's been run out of the last 3 cities that he played in because he's an asshole and he's not the best guy in the locker room and he's got an edge about him and he fights people in practice and stuff. You know what? It's about time we get in a couple fights in practice, people. And it's about time we have a little bit of FU in us. And other teams are maybe, I don't want to say scared. They're all grown-ass men that are super freak athletics and, athletic and strong. But have a little edge. Be a little bit of an SOB.
Yeah.
Be that guy that nobody wants
like Richie.
to F with.
Like Richie when Richie was here. Like, exactly.
Yes.
Who was a
and I think that's what happened with correct. And I just unfortunately, it just wasn't working. We were just getting so far and then hitting the wall every single year. And I understand what's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and trying to get, different outcome from doing the same thing. I'm with it. That's why this change is so exciting to me. And the CJ Gardner-Johnson signing, which you alluded to, tells me that it's, you know what? Forget about all that shit. Let's get after it. I don't care. Right. Let's get after it and be nasty.
Yeah, I am too. It's a new era in a way, right? It's but we're not a rebuild, guys. I want you to relax on that. This isn't like something that, it's a tear down. This is just a retool of the defense and a different vision in coaching, right? And what Brady sees and what Beane sees, rather than what McDermott saw while he was here. And I'm not going to kill McDermott. He was a good coach, but obviously the goal is a Super Bowl, and he just didn't get it done, and now we move on. But that's it. Give me 1 minute, Captain D. Let me get the super chat.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the super chat. Would you use 27 first and 28 second for Cleveland's 20th pick to make moves this year? What do you think about that?
What name are you going after for giving that up? I mean, yeah, I'm in. If there's a player that you have in mind that we can speak about that is most likely not going to be at 26, but would be there at 20, who is that guy that you're speaking about? That would be my question. I would have no problem doing that if it was for I mean, you could say your pick, I guess, but even Jordan Tyson. And I'm not even the wide receiver guy, but if a talent like that you can get by giving away next year's first and in a second and 28, I'm in. Or if it's I mean, we can't go as far as the linebacker is going to be top 5 styles. Like, it depends on what name you're trying to talk about. I guess that would be my I'm certainly not against giving away a 27 first and a 28 second for the right guy. Okay. But is that a Dexter Lawrence thing? Probably not. You probably have to throw in a 26 first as well. But, you got to make the move. You got to make a move now. I guess it's just to answer that question, I'd have to know who you're talking about at that 20.
Yeah.
Only 6 picks. I don't know who.
Right. I'm with you on that. Like, I think so. In order for that, if they do that type of move, I think it would be they're seeing a player kind of slide maybe out of the top 10, top 15. And they're like, right. Like, this guy shouldn't probably be here. Let's get on the phone. Let's see what we could do to grab that guy. Outside of that, like, it's tough to answer the question because we have no idea, how the draft's going to play out. And it always plays out differently every year. There's always a guy that winds up sliding. There's always a pick that shouldn't have been picked that somebody reached on, and then it kind of shuffles the draft board around. So that's something I can't answer because I have no idea, who's going to be in that 20th range for the Bills, the scoop up. But appreciate the question.
If it's like Sonny Styles, hell yeah,
exactly.
You're like, okay, let's do it. Yeah, of course,
Right. What up, Captain D? Captain D, who's a Dolphins fan. What's going on, Captain D?
What's going on? Nice to see you guys.
What up? Yeah, man. Sorry, but I saw you backstage. I tried to tell you to stay on, man, because I was just trying to. Let me get to some of these chats real quick, Captain D, and then we'll get to you. Marino's Legacy. Jance, you said it's Allen. I give you the same tier quarterback and Burrow. If they were saying it's true and they're just Allen, they would by definition Cincinnati would be at least top 5, 6. Cincinnati's offense is top tier. The problem is they just can't put it together, and their defense has been not the same since their DC left, and they got their own. And then of course Burrow, it seems like 1 year he's hurt, 1 year he's not. Like, it's weird with Burrow and that whole situation, but that's their problem. But I mean, you kind of look at Cincinnati guys. They put all their chips on offense, and it really hasn't. I mean, what have they done? So, like, you know what I mean? Like, we sit here and talk about, like, man, Bill should just throw all this money at the receivers and this and that. Like, you got to have a well-rounded team. The Super Bowl is caliber. The Super Bowl teams, the teams that win it. For instance, last year, Seattle guys, well-rounded, both sides of the ball. Defense was good, offense was good, right? The defense. Matter of fact, when you got into the Super Bowl, the offense for Seattle was shaky. Let's be real. But the defense was that good where New England they weren't scoring points. So they carried their team through each quarter until the offense got going, and they won the Super Bowl just like that. Like, our defense has never really done that, right? Where it's carried through the quarters, right? And our offense finally gets going and we wind up winning like a Seattle did against New England. Just, it's never really been like that. Our offense usually carried the defense throughout the playoffs. I mean, there's a reason why we give up 33.5 points every playoff, like on average. Like, that's unacceptable. especially when you have a defensive-minded head coach. If we had an offensive-minded head coach, fine. I would be like, all right, well, we concentrate on offense. We score 40 a game. We're giving up 33.5. Works for me.
Yeah, okay.
But that hasn't been the case. Let's see here. I'm way behind. I apologize. Let's see if I can catch up, man. Holy shit. I think you guys are just kind of going back and forth actually in the chat. Okay. I'm pretty sure Simpson was on the Jets last year. I could be wrong. Okay. They're just going back and forth. All right, Captain D. So I'm caught up. I'm pretty sure. So Captain D, glad you're here because maybe Cold Front has some questions. By the way, that's Dustin from Cold Front. That's Captain D. Represents the Dolphins, and now you know each other. Captain D, I haven't really talked to you too much about your Dolphins. Last time you were on was AFC Shakedown in the season. So, man, a lot has happened with your Miami Dolphins. Where to begin? Obviously, we were on AFC Shakedown when Greer got fired, so that we know.
Yes, we were, yeah.
But then going into the offseason was where it got, for me, like, oh, weird, because the reports came out that you were going to keep McDaniel. He was going to be part of the GM search. And then big time coaches got fired. Harbaugh. Your coach gets fired the following day, I think it was. So talk to me about that whole scenario. What's your thought process on why that move was made? All that good stuff, all that jazz.
Yeah, a lot of changes were made in the offseason. Obviously, Mike McDaniel thought that he was going to retain his position as head coach. But then some head coaching positions got opened up. Jim Harbaugh was, I would say the biggest one that was an opening. And I think that made the Dolphins ownership rethink some decisions. And we obviously fired Mike McDaniel, brought in Troy Aikman as a advisor, which was an interesting story because essentially Troy Aikman basically explained to the Dolphins that because of his experience and what he's been hearing on the sidelines and his relationships with other teams, he could guide us into finding the next head coach and general manager for the Miami Dolphins. And with that, we hired Troy and we brought in John Eric Sullivan and Jeff Hafley as the head coach. A lot of changes from top to bottom. As you know, Tyreek Hill is no longer with us. Jalen Waddle. During the last season, there was a lot of changes, obviously, that were made as well. So a lot of different changes.
Two is gone.
Two is gone. There's been a serious overhaul here in Miami. So.
And by the way, Dustin, chime in anytime you have a question with Captain D about the Dolphins. But obviously, you guys, I believe you guys set a record for dead cap in a season, which is wild. It was like 100. What was it, Dustin? 100 million or something? It was some record. It was 150, right?
Isn't it?
Yeah, 150. Wild. But for me, it sucks. Sometimes you have to do these things when you're on a total rebuild. That's what you guys are on. But I want to ask you though, was there, did you feel that you had to cut Tua or you could have kept Tua and not have to eat that money and just kind of have him there as a backup, or would it just cause a distraction with him and Malik Willis? You know what I mean? Like just have him and this way you have expensive backup, kind of like what they did with Cousins in Atlanta.
I feel like they had to cut him. They wanted a fresh start. They wanted a fresh start, a complete new vision for the organization. I think they knew offhand they were going to give Malik Willis a shot because it happened almost simultaneously. You know what I mean? Within I think maybe a week or two, Tua was cut and Willis was signed. So I think they already had a vision of going into this thing. It was kind of pre-planned. I think even Aikman had a voice in as far as McDaniel also. But it's a new vision. We're going to see now what's going to happen. It's exciting if you're a Dolphins fan. But I don't have any. If you look back, yes, it was disappointing. The Dolphins fell short, but they felt like they were a couple players away of heading to the Super Bowl, and they went for it, and it didn't work, and that's about it.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
You guys
They're
did go
gonna
all
pay,
in.
heavily this season. We went all in. We went all in, and it didn't work out.
It didn't work out. So do you put that more so on the players, or do you put that more so on coaching, or just at maybe all together combined? Like, what do you feel like, what went wrong under, with McDaniel and Greer and like you said, going all in with Tariq Hill and, Chubb at the time when you guys initially traded for him, and you guys went all speed. You guys had playmakers. So what went wrong in your opinion?
I think it was a combination of obviously some coaching and a lot of bad decisions made by upper management. I'm not going to put it all on Chris Greer, but I think it was a bunch of collective decisions, bad contracts that were given out, contract extensions, whatever you want to call it. I think it was a combination of bad upper management decisions. I think Tua, we should have waited. We should let him play on that 5th-year option. We knew what we were getting into with injury-prone quarterback, but Mike went to bat for him, and it didn't pan out.
Yeah, you got anything, Dustin, for Captain D on the Dolphins?
Yeah, speaking of Tua, not so much Tua, although it kind of folds into my question. There was a lot of talk that I had heard that Mike McDaniel was too much of a soft players coach, not enough discipline, so to speak. Do you think that, like, being as close to that team as you are, following them, was that real? And is he too soft? Is he too trying to be too cool to his guys? I mean, obviously has the appearance of what he does. And there's a lot of people outside the Miami Dolphins sphere, so to speak, that says the guy is Miami or LA, and that's it. By the way that he looks, the way that he dresses, some of his characteristics in terms of his personality. Do you feel that he was not strict enough with some of the personnel, inside the house?
I can't personally say, because obviously I'm not in the locker room seeing what's going on, but from what I'm, you have to remember, it was when Mike McDaniel was hired, he talked a lot about player empowerment, and he spoke a lot about that. And when he was hired on with the Dolphins, that was one of the main issues that I completely agreed upon. I was, infatuated with Mike McDaniel and the vision that he was bringing with the Dolphins, because it was about player empowerment. And that was a different voice and philosophy that I've heard in such a long time. I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is going to be a new vision for this team, and it's going to be great. But I think that's a slippery slope when things are not, you bring in certain players and you're preaching player empowerment, and there's no accountability at times.
Right.
So I think it's great to have players have, player empowerment, but there's got to be some type of accountability. Jalen Ramsey was one of those players that was brought in, and a lot of whispers around the league is that he's not a very easygoing guy in the locker room. I don't know how true that is. At that time, we had leadership involved. We had Calais Campbell there. We had Teron Armstead there, and even still, then there was issues still that we're hearing, little things that were going on. I think ultimately, we have to hold Mike McDaniel and the upper management accountable for this. You know what I mean? Because we're starting to hear little whispers. I don't know if you heard about what Raheem Mostert came out and talked about. Players were getting aggressive with coaches and stuff like that. That simply just can't happen. You know what I mean? Now Raheem might be a little bitter because he was, doing so well, and then he was benched from all the fumbles and stuff like that. You guys can attest to that. I think there was a couple that might have happened during the Buffalo game.
Helped us.
It helped you guys quite a bit. But ultimately, I think it was, like I said, coaching and upper management, holding these players accountable, giving out these horrendous contracts, and it just all that just kind of simmered and caused all these issues.
I think you had a lot of high profile guys there. It's Miami too, and Miami is it's one of those towns, man. I think you gotta have to. It's like I think Pat Riley, for instance, that does a great job with players like that, right? There's certain coaches that can handle high profile players like a Tyreek Hill, Jalen Ramsey. You know what I mean? Like guys that are a little bit out there. Got to give you give them a leash, but not a super long leash. And I think maybe what happened was this McDaniel was maybe a little bit too long of a leash. Obviously, I wasn't there. I don't know that, but it seems like players have come out that either were used to play for him or left, and seems like stuff was going on there that probably shouldn't have gone on. And but either way, it's a reset. So what's your expectations? I mean, going forward, do you see this as a 3-year project? And if you're not going anywhere for year 2, do you want to kind of reset again and go start looking for a coach and GM again, or what's your time frame for these guys where you're like, hey, okay.
Well, real quick, just to end that conversation, I think that happens with every team. There's, you're dealing with a lot of, like you said, high profile. These guys are making a lot of money, and some guys are mature and some guys are just flat out immature, tough guys to deal with. It's very, very difficult to lead that many young men and men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very, very difficult. You have to have the right staff, the right leadership involved. And even then, everything's still got to come together to get to that ultimate goal of the Super Bowl. Not easy at all. But backtracking on your question, this has got to be, I would say, a 3 to 4 year time span of what we're going to see. I think obviously this year it's breaking ground. We're seeing what the vision is going to be. Where are we going? Are they building from the inside out? They getting that wide receiver at 11, or what are we doing? We trading down, trading up. What are we doing? So this is going to be a good introduction to see what John Eric
quarterback.
Sullivan, are they giving Lafley a here, you take a defensive pick. You're first year, have at it. Who do you want a defense? We don't know. So it's going to be interesting, but I would say a 3-year time span. We've got Malik for, I would say I would give him a 2-year leash to see what's there. And my question to you, I brought up a while back, is like, what do we have to even analyze Malik Willis for the first year? What I mean? But
let me get 60 attempts or something like that.
But
he has
one
a
thing
lot of games,
I did see on social media that somebody was talking about was they were actually talking about Josh Allen, and they were talking about his rookie year, and there wasn't much for him, but at least you guys could see that there was something there to say.
Correct.
We need to
you saw a glimpse.
I didn't really think about that. You know what I mean? Like, we should be able to see stuff in Malik Willis to say, hey, we want to invest in that. We need to add some pieces and see where this is going to go. So just because, go ahead.
No. Let me get the super chat, and then we'll I'll ask you a question. My dude. Marino's legacy coming in. You could make a good argument that the Bills defense is the worst in NFL playoff history under McDermott in the Allen era. It's up there. I mean, once again, that's a lot of points to surrender every playoffs on average. So I'm just glad we're done with that. That era of defense is over. I'd much rather have an aggressive style defense going forward. And listen, if they blow some plays, because they're over aggressive, I'll live with that. I'd rather live with that than being a cushion ass soft defense that's just going to let a team drive down the field on you and hope that you could, hold them to a field goal every time. Like the bend don't break defense, by the way, is trash. I don't care what anyone says. I hate it. I hate the term. And we're switching that around. We're going to be far more aggressive with this defense.
Hey, Tom, wait, hold on a second. I want to ask both you guys a question.
Go ahead.
Same question for both you guys. So, what is your expectations? What's your thoughts on Keon Coleman this year? And then the pick is in, I want to see where you guys are picking right now. The pick is in.
Yeah,
who you guys
yeah.
choosing?
All right.
whoever
Go ahead. You go
whoever wants
first.
to go
You go
first.
first. Go first, Dustin.
I'm going first.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if anybody's in here that still that hangs with me on my channel. Captain D, I am probably the biggest advocate for Keon Coleman on the face of the planet. And I will tell you why. I think that he was drafted, well, labeled as a first round draft pick, even though it was very beginning of second round. He had too much responsibility given to him, and he was set up for failure for the type of receiver that he is from the first snap. That's me. I don't think he was ever going to be a wide receiver one. He was drafted in a position where he should be, and then he had an enormous set of expectations that does not mold or fit his mold as far as his skill set. He's not a deep vertical threat. He's not a separation guy. I know he showed some signs of punt return, special teams, being able to, ball skills with the ball in his hand. I think he's more of a red zone threat, a body catch guy, throw the ball up in the air, which is not Josh Allen's strong suit, by the way. He is not a touch fade route ball in the red zone. He's not a Matthew Stafford. No. Okay, he's not what Tom Brady used to be. He does not really have that in his repertoire, which I'd like to see kind of come out of Josh Allen if I'm going to give Josh Allen any negatives. That's one of them. I think as a number 3 or number 4 possession receiver, I think he will actually flourish. With the addition of DJ Moore, I think Keon Coleman has every ability in the world to have a really solid season this year, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, is he going to stay mature enough? Your word, Captain D. Is he going to be mature? Is he going to be a grown-ass man, or is he going to be a little child and not make practices and or meetings? Well, that remains to be seen. If he kind of figures that all out, I think physically on the field, he absolutely has a lot to prove, and he has a lot of room to show us that he's a very good receiver, because I still have faith. Now, I'm one of very few that feel that way about him. Secondly, I'm on the podium at number 26. If my guy is there, my first guy of this whole last few months has been safety out of Oregon, Dylan Thieneman. He's not going to be there, so we're not going to say his name. We signed 2 safeties in the offseason, free agents. I don't think they'd take him anyways. That would be my pick. Secondly, I'm going Caden McDonald out of Ohio State. Very unpopular take. Nose tackle out of Ohio State. That is my first pick if I don't trade back and get multiple picks in the early second to very early third window. That'd be hard to find, as me and Tommy were speaking about. I go Caden McDonald because I think nose tackle is absolutely imperative. I think we can actually get away with signing Shaq Thompson back and even Matt Milano back. That can be a good enough locker room for me as far as linebackers go, with Dorian and Terrell Bernard if you bring in Shaq Thompson. Or you get your second pick with the likes of a Jacob Rodriguez or Josiah Trotter with Caden McDonald, and I'm a happy guy. So that's me, and it's completely unpopular, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think that's what the Bills should do. Sorry, Tommy, that was a long-winded answer.
No, dude, I go long-winded all the time, brother. So I'll start with the Keon. So I'm on board with Dustin. I actually made a video of why the Bills should draft Keon Coleman. So I was all on board with Keon Coleman with their first pick, because I wasn't totally sold on that draft with wide receivers, especially where we are drafting once again. It sucks that we made the trade to KC, but I don't feel like Worthy's been this world beater either over there. So, once again, it wasn't like, he's a Jerry Rice and we totally fucked up there. But with Keon Coleman, I feel like he plays out of position sometimes. I would like to see him in the slot here and there. I feel like he does really good on slants and crossers. He's a big-bodied receiver. And what he does well on those is he overshadows the defender, right? Because usually it's a smaller defender on him. And he does those really well, but we just didn't really utilize it much, right? We didn't really call his name much on those type of passes. Red zone, he would be ideal. He has a size and he played basketball, so he can go out there, he can go up there and get the ball. Problem is, like Dustin said, is just Josh Allen, that's just not his thing. He just doesn't have that, where he can kind of sky high the ball, in the corner and give your receiver a 50-50 chance. He's more of a, throw that thing 100 miles an hour, right? Like he's never been a pure touch type of passer, right? And that's why Josh Allen's deep ball is shaky at times, right? It just doesn't. I don't know what it is, but he's never been really truly good at that. And so that part is kind of like a thing where I don't know if that'll ever happen. Now on the flip side, I feel like he got into it early with McDermott. He wasn't happy about his playing time. He wasn't happy about his role, possibly. He was not being a good teammate, because I get all that. I get your frustrations, but you still need to go out there and fight with your teammates. You still need to, if they're putting their blood, sweat, and tears out in the football field, you got to do the same. You can't be giving up on plays, which he did. It's shown on camera. You can't be missing team meetings, right? That's just unacceptable, right? Even if you just aren't happy, even if you whatever, with your coach, you guys are not seeing eye to eye, you got to be better than that. And I feel like Coleman is just a little bit immature, McDermott wasn't going to have that shit, right? And rightfully so. He suspended him. I don't agree with the second one, by the way. I don't get why he got a 2-game there. McDermott was saying, because I don't even know why he was suspended 2 games, but whatever. Regardless of the point, he never really said. It made no sense, by the way, to keep him out in the second game. I think he said because it was a quick turnaround game, but who cares? He didn't play the last week. Why were that?
Yeah, right. Not quick when you take 12 days off. Exactly.
Right. So didn't understand that, but whatever. So really, honestly, to answer the question, I know it was long-winded. He has to mature. If he matures, he shows up, does everything they ask for, I'll be fine with that. And if it doesn't work out, you know what's going to happen? Other GMs are going to see that he was all in. He did whatever they did, what they asked, and they're going to give him an opportunity to prove himself somewhere else in a different scheme or a different system. But if he acts out, misses camp, does everything that he did last year, he won't last in the NFL. No GM is going to give that guy an opportunity if he's not willing to better himself. So hopefully he lived and learned. McDermott is no longer here. So if that was also a reason why, he felt, any type of way, well, that's out the door. Now you're with a guy in Brady who said he believes in you. He said he wanted to draft you. Brandon Beane now says, okay, I'm going to stick with you. Well, the ball's in your court now. Now you need to put the work in. So, for me, that's why you see a lot of draft busts, because they have all the tools, but they don't put the work in, right? And that's why a lot of these guys these draft busts don't work out. It's not because they don't have the talent. It's because they don't want to put together. They're lazy, or they have off-field issues, or they're immature. So hopefully for him, he matures up and he can help this team. But I feel like he's a good quality 3. I think he could be a good quality 3 in the NFL. And he could stay in the NFL a while, right? If he remains, if he puts the work in. That's how I see Keon Coleman. I don't see him as a 1,000-yard receiver. I don't see him as, number 2. I see him as about a good third option, which is fine. Matter of fact, Gabe Davis was our third option, and it was great. You look at the Chiefs game. So third option in that game, and he got 200 yards in that game. So you could be that guy, and you can get a contract elsewhere if you show out. So now on our draft pick, I'm also with Dustin McDonald. I know it's not a popular pick, but that dude is a beast. True nose tackle, can move offensive linemen, no problem. That will set up Ed Oliver, who's next to him, to be a problem, because that's exactly what Ed Oliver has been missing, is a true one tech or nose tackle. I would absolutely be on board with that. I know a lot of people wouldn't, but the Buffalo Bills run defense in every category pretty much was towards the bottom of the league. Pretty much 32nd, 30th, 29, like terrible. Big plays. I think we were like 31st. Big plays. And that's a problem. if you get a guy and the knock is, oh, he's only going to be on 2 downs. So what? What are 2 downs? The first 2 downs, usually run plays, right? Like short yardage run plays. He sets you up on a 3rd and short. If you can eliminate the long run or the big chunk yards and set teams up in 3rd and long, I'm good with it. He did his job. Get off the field. Now we can be aggressive, right? On 39, 38 instead of a 3rd and 2. So for me, yeah, I'd be all on board a McDonald. That's my dude. That's the guy. If he's there, you have to take him. You have to. If you pass up on him, man, that's a problem for me. Unless there's an edge, like there's an edge there that you really, one of the top tier edges, which I doubt are going to be there. Fine. I also heard that Ruben Beane may drop a little bit because of the whole off-field shit in 2024. Great. Let him drop. Like, that's another player. If he somehow got top 15, a little bit past 15 area, dude, I'm doing what I can to get him on the phone and making that call because I don't give a shit about his short arms. I don't care about off-field shit that happened in 2024. I could give 2 fucks about that. That guy is a stud. That guy is an absolute beast. You would have him on a rookie deal. Because Bradley Chubb,
right,
we're probably getting about 2 years out of him, if he stays healthy. And that's realistic. I think 2 years, and I'll be good with that. I think the contract would live up to that. But you have a guy right there, and in the system, there's also word. I'm sure you heard, Dustin, that Greg Rousseau, Groot, they're putting him to outside linebacker. So I think it's going to be kind of a mixture. I know they're saying it now. What's your thoughts on that? By the way, Groot going to OLB.
I'm fine with it because they're mainly just they're going to have a 5 lineman set anyways. You can call him whatever the hell you want to call him. He's going to be on the left-hand side of the line, which is where he likes to be. Bradley Chubb likes to be on the right side of the football. So kind of a marriage there. And whether you want to call him a D end or an outside linebacker,
right?
Groot does just fine in a 2-point stance, standing up on the line of scrimmage, in like a 7-9 situation. And he's one of the best run stopping edge guys in the NFL. So I see everybody being freed up this year. If you get your nose, Deion Walker batting down balls, he'll be much different. TJ Sanders won't have to play edge. He can cycle in with Michael Hoyt as defensive tackle with Eddie Oliver and Deion Walker. And then you got Chubb and Groot. You got maybe re-signing like an Epinesa or something like that. If we can go get another edge, I'm so in with that. Take a look at Caden Curry out of USC later on in the 6th or 7th round. I like him as some depth at edge too. Like I think this defense has the makings to be ridiculous, to be quite frank with you, if we can get that nose. And it'll free up the linebackers who aren't necessarily big-time run stoppers in the system currently, like the Terrell Bernards. He can blitz more because a guy like McDonald or a Dexter Lawrence, they take on double, triple teams, and they don't even move. That frees up your linebackers. That's what it does.
Absolutely.
And then Eddie Oliver is a good pass rush guy. If he's able to be one-on-one, forget about it. If he stays healthy. Now, we need our health. Knock on wood, right? We need our health, just like everybody else.
Absolutely.
But I actually think this defensive line can put together a massive year with one more piece. I do too. Adam coming in, Lawrence, Dexter Lawrence for a first this year and a third next year would be amazing, and I would do that. No problem. I'd have no problem with that. Once again, that's a guy that's going to move the needle. Now you have because everyone talks about the Bills are, one side of the ball. We have now we have 2 premier playmakers in Allen and Cook. We never really had one on defense. Von Miller, I guess, but if he got injured, and that kind of phased it out. But this would be our first real. Okay, we got that dude that's going to be disruptive on that side of the ball, which we haven't really had. We have good players. And once again, we'll talk about the defense in a second on guys that I absolutely love. And I'm with you. I think this defense could be really way better than it's been with this coaching staff and with the players and maybe in future players, the draft picks that we might get. Let me get to some of the comments. We got a super chat coming in. Let me get ahead and get that train horn for you. Please react. It's about Beane drafting link under. I don't know what that means. Explain. I'm sorry. I don't know what you mean.
Jordan Tyson, baby. Yep. But yeah, dude, I'm with you. Real quick, Captain D, on your back to your team. Speaking of Malik Willis, so here's my concerns for him. What I've seen, the little things I've seen, because he hasn't had a lot of playing time.
He is not.
I like what I do like what I saw. I do understand why he wanted to be, a starter, right? He seemed like he was on that correct path, but he has very limited starts, right? So that is not a red flag, but I would say that's a concern if you're a Dolphins fan, because you really don't know, because of course of it, 18 weeks is a long, it's a long time, right? Like now you're going against defenses, you're going against a team, especially teams that learn about your game, right? Backups sometimes come in and they can be tricky because, defenses don't game plan. They don't know much about you. But once defense and DCs get, film on you, it could change, right? And we'll see what it comes to Malik Willis. But the thing is, I'm very curious because you guys got rid of your receivers. You don't really have a lot of talent right now around Willis. I wonder if they're going to build around him this year, or they're going to wind up seeing what they got in him year one. Like you said, can he show traits without having these guys? But okay, I think this is a guy we can build around, because that's where I see you guys doing. I think what you'll do is you'll see how he is year one. And I think he's only on a 3-year deal. So they did that on purpose. So I feel like first year, let's see what we got. And if it's there, we'll build around him. If not, if we suck or like he's just not the guy, okay, we'll draft a quarterback in a much better quarterback draft class in 2027, and we'll have Malik as the backup. And do you feel that, is that something that you feel the same?
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I think they're gonna when we lost Waddle, when they traded Waddle, everybody was thinking to themselves, like, was he aware of this? And they released a statement saying that he was aware that Waddle was going to be possibly traded. He knew that coming into signing. So I think he's got a 1 year where they know that, hey, we're going to have some mediocre pieces around you. They're probably we're going to draft a wide receiver this year. But right now in the roster itself, he doesn't have much to really work with. He's got Tolbert from the Cowboys. He's got Malik Washington. There's just not a lot right now. Dolchich is coming back. He showed some great signs as a tight end last year. So there's just not a lot unless we draft somebody dynamic and someone ends up really, standing out this year out of the draft as a rookie. What's your offensive game plan? Like, what do you know your scheme right now? Like, do you know? We do not know, but I'm assuming. Okay, we're gonna be a run heavy team. We're gonna be looking to run the football. Okay, heavily.
Okay, so you're gonna rely on what's his name? Who's wanting a deal? By the way, Achan, who's wanting a deal.
Achan wants a deal. We have Ollie Gordon that we drafted last year. He's more of a bruising. I do bruiser, a little speed to him. He showed really good signs last year, so we got him. And we're gonna see, if we're probably gonna draft another quarterback, maybe late. I'm sorry, another running back. But we have to see. We have to really.
And your offensive line, how's that we're looking this year so far? I mean, shaky. As you said right now, shaky.
It's a little shaky. Patrick Paul right now, he's a stud. He's our left tackle. Center, we're bringing back Aaron Brewer. We signed somebody from the Chargers. I might butcher his name right now, but he seems okay. And then Austin Jackson coming back off of injury. He's the weak link right now. And I shouldn't say that. I think between Austin Jackson and Jonas Savanaia, those are the he plays left guard. Savanaia. He had a rough rookie season. I think him and Jackson right now are the weakest links.
So here's the only problem I see with the Malik Willis thing, because it's such a short window, and fans want something now. Like, fans are not patient, right? I really wonder if you guys have a bad season, if fans are going to already be calling for a quarterback in 2027. And if that's the case, like, what do you guys do then? Like, do you not draft a quarterback and just continue on, or do you do a Cardinals type of move where you're like, he's not the guy, we have an opportunity for this guy? You know what I mean? Like, fans, it's brutal. The NFL is brutal. They're not going to get they're not going to give him a lot of time to show his worth. So just curious what you think. I mean,
it'll be interesting to see. I do think they are going to draft a quarterback probably late. You have to remember, we still have Quinn Ewers, who started.
I mean 2027, not this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
This year, I do think they are going to draft a quarterback late. And I think 2027, we will absolutely be drafting another quarterback if Malik Willis is not panning out. Absolutely.
Okay. See, I would stay away. Like, for me, honestly, like, if I'm a Dolphin fan or whatever, if I'm in that, the GM role or whatever, I don't know if I draft a quarterback in this. There's no need. Like, you guys have so much holes to fill right now. You have a quarterback on a 3-year window, right? He's a question. He is a question mark because he doesn't have a lot of playing time. However, they know him very well. He came from Green Bay. Like, if anyone knows him, it's your coach, right? Like, clearly, and your GM. So they have, I think they have enough faith in him. I don't see a reason, because if you're going to draft a quarterback this year draft, it would be late. And what are you going to, like, what's the purpose, right? The chance of you hitting on a quarterback in 6 I'm not saying it can't happen, but for me, I would just stock up on depth and talent. You guys got a lot of draft picks here. Then in 2027, which is the heavier draft class for quarterbacks, that's when I would venture off. And even if Malik Willis played okay, then you go for a quarterback in round 1 or 2, because then okay, if the Willis experiment don't go well, now we got, you know what I mean? We got a round 1 quarterback he's under Malik Willis. Maybe you sit him year 2, right? You let Willis play out year 2. Like, that's what I would do. But, I just don't see, I don't see the purpose, I guess I would say, of drafting quarterback this year, unless you draft him early. And why would you do that? That's not really a good quarterback draft class. So that's my thinking behind it. I think you guys are in a, total rebuild.
I think it's the need
to take some time.
Especially after the whole Tua ordeal and prior to Tua, I mean, we just haven't been able to actually hit on quarterback for I think 2 decades now. It's been that bad. It might even be longer, but it's just been that struggle of finding a true franchise quarterback. So I think at this point they're just swinging. We got to swing. We got to keep trying. We have to keep trying to find that franchise quarterback. And I think they were aggressive. They signed Malik Willis. Hey, someone in the chat mentioned that Adam. He's absolutely correct. They've seen Malik Willis now for the past 2 years. They felt confident enough to give him to bring him over and give him a shot. So they know more than we do. So let's see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, that's one thing, man. It is interesting, that they got Willis, but that's how it goes. We when everyone talks about like the Bills and getting Carolina guys, it's because we had Carolina ties. Our coaches and GMs came from Carolina. So early on, you're going to get a lot of guys are familiar with. I totally get that. But yeah, back to the Bills, Dustin. So we talking about this year's draft and what we want, right? How many outside of the receiver position, which I feel like no matter what, they're going to get one in this draft. How many offensive players do you think that's actually going to get drafted here? Or would you like to see what other positions outside of receiver would you like to see get drafted? For me, a guard. I think or a tackle. I think you need at least one. Yep. A guard would be ideal to compete because right now it's Alec Anderson possibly taking on that role, maybe SVP. They're talking
Yep.
about too, supposedly. So what's your
Well,
thoughts?
they brought in Austin Corbett. I think you watch out for Austin Corbett to potentially take that starting role.
Oh, Corbett,
don't
you're
think-
right. I forgot about him.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think that he's as washed up as some may think. I mean, he's been and Cushenberry, he's more of a center, but both these guys have basically started every game that they've played in the NFL. They're not backups. They were both signed out of free agency, but they're not backups. They're not, at least historically, prepared to back up. Maybe they are here, but I agree with the guard position. I think that's something of value. There's a kid out of Iowa that I think is like a 5th or 6th round grade that I think is something we can the Bills should take a peek at. I mean, there's more than just this guy. This is one that I'm familiar with, and yeah, that's about it for me, honestly. Unless you now, this might be a free agent signing, but it's kind of like a sleeper thing. This kid out of Michigan. I will tell you his name in 2 seconds. Max Bredesen, labeled as a tight end, but is really a tight end / fullback. And I wouldn't mind seeing someone like that, although you might not have to draft him. You might be able to sign out of like an undrafted free agent role to fill in the Reggie Gilliam role. If we're talking like 7th round.
Yeah, I forgot about Gilliam leaving, right? He went to the Dolphins, actually, right, Captain D? I think he's
no, he's
correct.
a Patriot. Reggie Gilliam.
That's right. Patriots. Yeah. Ugh. I knew it was the East team. I knew it was the East team, but
and they paid him. They paid him like $4 or $5 million bucks a year for 2 years. I think it's 2 years, $8 million. I mean, God bless him.
It's a great deal.
He deserves it. It is.
Yeah.
Good
for a guy that really isn't a focal point on offense, more of a special teams and a push guy. Right? Yeah,
exactly.
But you did that real well, but I get
it's
it.
A lot of money
you got paid.
To, be on the field 15 times a game or whatever. So I'm with you there. I think that if I'm making the decisions, that's basically where I would probably end up. Although I have done a mock draft or two. Well, no, you said other than wide receiver, right? You said other than.
Yeah. Just guys that where you feel like it would be a surprise or even a surprise position that you didn't see coming. Do you see like a running back or because I don't think they're going to draft. I just don't see it. I could be wrong. Tight end, like I don't think they're going to draft a tight end. Like we're pretty set there.
Just did last year with Jackson Hawes. Just drafted him.
Right.
So I'm with you. I don't really see many surprises, but shit, who the heck knows, man?
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you, but I don't know.
Yeah. So I do want to pull this up because it was something I meant to get to earlier. Oh, and by the way, real quick too, you mentioned one player that I forgot about, and I shouldn't have. Michael Hoyt, who's coming off that ACL or that Achilles, the Achilles injury.
Yep.
That dude is a beast, bro. Like I didn't know much about him. And Captain D, you should know, he's Canadian, I believe. Yep. That dude is a unicorn on the defensive line. He can go anywhere. And I didn't realize how much hype, like how much hyped up that dude, the energy he brings for that a game and a half, right, that he brought to the Buffalo Bills last year. I was like, dude, like this guy's legit. Like even players were like, bro, like this guy's energy levels, like, matter of fact, he tore his Achilles, Captain D, and I think I showed you that, and still went after the quarterback. Which is wild. Like, bro, 95% of the league players are going to drop, right? That dude is like, fuck that. I'm going to keep going. Like, it's insanity.
And he wouldn't leave the field because he wanted to leave the field. He wouldn't go to the locker room.
Yeah. So that's a player I'm excited to see on his return, to see what he could bring, because he's such a unique kind of player. You don't get that a lot. And that's why I like offensive lineman, Captain D, like that can go to multi positions, center, tackle, guard, like those guys. I love having those guys as depth. Like we have a couple, like Alec Anderson. Like when you get those kind of guys, you keep them. Like guys that can be a unicorn on the offense or defensive side of the ball. So Michael Hoyt, you brought him up.
Imagine he didn't get hurt and he stayed even close to the production that he did have in a game and a half. What would people's thoughts of Brandon Beane's free agent signings be?
Right. Exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
he was literally, and he was with Larry Ogunjobi with the suspension, and he didn't start
He
until
was.
week 8. Also, he couldn't play.
Right.
Or was it 9? He might have missed 8 games. I don't remember. It was either 8 or 9. But that guy would have changed a lot of minds had he played the entire season and anywhere close to the production that he gave the Bills in the game and a half that he played.
Yeah, and he still got 2 years left. It's a 3-year, I believe it's a 3-year contract for him.
I think
so.
He got lost in the shuffle out there in Los Angeles. That's the only reason. He left. Too many players out there on that D line.
Yeah. By the way, J-Ham, I know you said you sent it to my Twitter. I didn't get it. So I don't know where you sent it, but it's Tommy Talks Bills. I didn't get it. So send it again. What about Dexter Lawrence possibility at Lynn? We talked about this earlier, but you're asking we'll tell you again. I'm all for it. Dustin, he'll tell you in a minute. I don't know. He's not totally sold on it, but for me, absolutely. I think it makes sense. I think you fill a glaring hole instantly. You become better overnight on the defensive line, just like that. Drafting is always a toss-up. I don't care if you're top 5. It happens. Like, guys sometimes just don't work out. Like, even the best of the best don't know sometimes, right? So for me, if you have a guy like Dexter Lawrence, who you absolutely know what he brings to the table, you know what he's going to bring game after game after game. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's going to cost us, but that's what it takes to get talent. Unfortunately, unless you're drafting in the top 10 all the time, which would usually mean you're a bad team, right? Like, I'm not saying you can't get talent later in rounds, guys. Don't say, I don't want to, mix that up. But the likelihood of you nailing a end of the round each draft, superstar, it's slim. It is. Usually you're getting a guy, especially when he got to the first 2 rounds, that are probably going to be depth guys. You know what I mean? That's where you start getting your depth, or rotational guys. But getting a guy like that would absolutely change everything for that defensive line. So, but go ahead, Dustin, let them know about what your thoughts are on Dexter Lawrence.
No, I agree. I think he's a game changer. It's immediate for sure if we can make it work. And I don't want to make it sound like I don't think that he's the real deal, because I absolutely do. It just doesn't seem feasible for his value and his money, his contract, and what he says that he wants to get with this next contract. Although today, another report came out that he said, I know we've been trying to work it out with the Giants, but I don't want to be here. Now it's even updated to where he simply says, I do not want to play for the Giants next year. So that was an update earlier today. That could work in someone's favor for sure, but I just, with the monies that he demands, I don't see how it works. If they can figure it out, hell yeah, I'm in. Hell yeah.
Well, that's one thing Beane's good at. I will say he's good at other things, but he's very good at the financial side of things. So,
agreed.
And I know a lot of Bills Mafia is like, oh, he's terrible. He's not. He's very good at that. I did get that, J-Ham. I'll pull that up now. Might as well. Let's go ahead and Captain D, you still good?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, let me and you're good, Dustin? You're still cool? Because I know you okay, I just want to make sure I don't want to hold
I got a few minutes left in me. I'm getting there. It's late for this guy. I'm not a late guy.
Bro, that's what we do, man. We hold people up. All right, let's get to this.
Managers in the NFL have actually made their franchises better through the draft over time. So not only do they draft well, but they have taken a broken situation and completely rebuilt it. So I built a regression model, and across 10 years worth of data, comparing all 32 current general managers, Brandon Beane, the general manager for the Buffalo Bills, has produced the largest drafting turnaround in the entire league, and it's not even close. This chart ranks every general manager by how much their draft quality has changed. So green means improved and red means declined. The number on each bar is the change in average residual per pick, which is the difference between how good a pick actually turned out to be versus what a pick at that slot is statistically expected to produce. So a positive residual means the GM is consistently finding players who outperform their draft position. And then a negative residual means they're getting less than expected. Now, the purple hatch bars that you see, these are GMs who have been in place the entire window. So from 2016 to 2025. For them, it's not a before versus after a hire. It's the first half versus second half of the decade. Did they get better or worse over time? And before I get into specific examples, I want to emphasize that this is not meant to be a team performance ranking, because a GM can be drafting well on a losing team or drafting poorly on a winning team. I just wanted to see who has improved their ability to find value in the draft alone. Now, at the top, we've got Beane, John Lynch in San Francisco, Nick Caserio in Houston, Brad Holmes in Detroit. These guys have taken over franchises that were drafting near the bottom of the league and turned them into elite talent evaluators. Then at the bottom, you have people like John Robinson from Tennessee, Brett Veach from Kansas City, Mickey Lunis from New Orleans. All three saw their draft quality decline significantly. And of course, we've got Jerry Jones, who has been running Dallas for the entire decade and seen his drafting edge erode considerably in the second half.
All right. Well, yeah. And that kind of goes towards what I've been saying about Brandon Beane. And that's what I want to kind of show again, because I feel like I have to always show the drafts, right, that have come through Buffalo. And this is, Brandon Beane came here after the 2017 draft. So I'm not including the 2017 draft because that was McDermott's draft. Okay, guys. So tell me, let's start here, right? Dustin, Captain D. I mean, obviously, I know you don't know too much about Buffalo, but you know the players. Josh Allen, hit. Tremaine Edmonds, let's be real, hit. Harrison Phillips, you want to be real? He's a hit. Teron Johnson, hit. Saron Neal, hit. Wyatt Teller, he would have been a hit if he stayed here, but I'm going to call it a hit. Ray McLeod, round 6, he's a hit. He's been around the NFL for a long time and a good special teams player. Hit. Austin Pearl, round 7, not a hit. Who cares? That is an A+ draft. Would you agree with that, guys? Looking at that draft? Or there goes Captain D. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about A+ for me. Maybe an A.
Josh Allen makes it A+.
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, listen, Josh Allen could make almost any draft look like an A+, but I guess I love the Edmonds pick. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hard to argue. Somewhere in the
hard to argue, right? So yeah, either way, let's just say solid A, right? We're gonna be okay. So solid A. Okay, Captain D, what you think about that draft? Pretty good draft there.
I think it's a pretty good draft.
Pretty good draft, right? All starters at one point, correct?
Yeah.
Except for Austin Pearl, right? Even Ray was a starting kick returner. So if you want to really count it, Wyatt Teller wound up being an All-Pro, right? Just unfortunately wasn't with us. We traded him, and that was because of McDermott and Bobby Johnson at the time didn't feel like he was a good enough player, I guess, to be on the team. That is an A draft, regardless. Okay. Let's go to the next. And I see your comment, Jarek. I'm going to get to it after this, I promise. 2019, here we go. Ed Oliver. Now, I want to talk about Ed Oliver, because that's one I think Bills Mafia are torn on as well. He was a top 10 pick regardless. If we weren't taking him, somebody else was. He was highly scouted. What's your thoughts on Ed Oliver at the time? And I still think he's a good player, by the way. I'm not knocking Ed Oliver, but what's your feel on Ed Oliver at 1 there? And I believe he was 10th, I think, right? Or 11th. Where did we draft him? I want to say 10th.
11, but it might have been.
It was either 10 or 11. Boy, my memory should be better, but I believe it was 10.
For me, when healthy, he's damn near close to elite. When healthy. So looking the rest of this draft, though, I mean, if you're gonna work off of starters, I mean, Singletary had a great career.
I love Singletary
for a running back. That's a long career for a running back.
Dawson Knox.
Yep. Daryl Johnson.
The rest,
Tommy Sweeney.
Yeah.
I mean,
a
little bit of a drop off there, but I would say solid. I would say a solid draft.
Yeah. Cody Ford was so here's your first blunder. And by the way, in Captain D, you know this. Like every GM's there's no GM that's perfect, guys. They all By the way, too, I was thinking about this. I was having lunch, Captain D. It's funny because Puka Nacua, and I don't know why his name, I was thinking about him eating lunch, but his name popped in my head. There's nobody. He got drafted 6th round. I've been doing this podcast thing since 2020, guys. I don't recall any podcasts, Bills Mafia, any of them. And I watch quite a few, right? Or I see them on Twitter or X saying, boy, Puka Nacua, look out for him. We need to draft that guy. Like, nobody, right? And by the way, GMs, if he was that good and GMs knew what they were doing all the time, knew these players for sure was going to work, bro, a guy fell to the 6th round. Like,
yeah.
Right. So it's not all, sometimes, man, like, you just never know, right? So I don't want to hear, like, and my point being with this is Bills Mafia going, oh, we can't pass up on Puka Nacua. You know how many other teams pass on him through 6 rounds practically? Like,
including the Rams?
You just, including the Rams multiple times. So you just never know. So it's not a for sure thing. And players sometimes that go early are busts. Cody Ford, unfortunately, we passed him. We took him. We could have had DK Metcalf, right? I get that. But a lot of other teams passed on DK at that time. So we weren't alone. It sucks, but it is what it is. So I would say he's a bust. Devin Singletary for round 3, guys. I don't care what anyone says. I like Devin Singletary. I thought he was a good teammate. He put up 850 yards his rookie season. That's good, especially at that time when we were pass heavy, no offensive line. I feel like he had a good couple seasons with us. I'm not going to hate it. Dawson Knox still on the team. So I would say, that draft there, I would say is a B-, but still a B, right? B-. This one here, the 2020 draft, Epinesa round 2. What do you feel about this? Zach Moss, Gabe Davis, Bass, Hodgins, Dane.
I mean, you have mid-level, but shit, they're all starters at some point.
Epinesa was rotational.
Yeah,
Moss
right.
Was
I mean,
RB2. Gabe Davis, I would say, is the
Gabe
shine.
Davis,
and
I'm
Bass
calling him
for
a starter. Tyler Bass is a
moment.
starter. Dane Jackson, well, he didn't start. Jake Fromm had a long career as a backup. I mean, he was around, I don't know how many years, but I mean, the guy floated around the NFL. So it's not like he was just tossed.
He didn't. I just hated him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he didn't really do much.
We actually got a decent pick for him. Yeah, we actually traded him, got a pick for him.
Oh, really? Okay, I don't even remember that.
Yeah, we got like a round 5.
Solid draft, I guess. To me, I put stock into, barring injury, of course. How long do the guys play?
Yeah, that's what Captain D was saying earlier.
They're on a roster. Who said that earlier?
Captain D. Actually, we were talking over on the phone. Yeah, about like bust and who. What would you consider?
Have a long career. First,
is it a bust?
Depth,
right.
Whatever. Is it really a bust? Right. I mean, I don't know. I feel not.
I'm with you.
There's not that many people that have long NFL careers. That's just the bottom line.
3 years.
If you
3 years is the window.
Yeah.
I mean, three and a half. Captain D, remember we had that conversation earlier when we were talking about Ted Ginn Jr., I think. Remember?
Yep.
And if he was a bust, I mean, maybe he was a bust for being a first-round pick, but overall player lasting in the league, shit. I mean, we talk about Zay Jones. Zay Jones been bouncing around the league, and, you got to give it to him. I mean, he's been around for a minute.
I'll just want to say real quick, just looking back, if we could scroll, I'm seeing,
I'm gonna scroll up?
Scroll up just a little bit. The previous
right
year,
here?
I
This
mean,
one?
Ed Oliver, he's tough every time he plays the Dolphins. Dawson Knox is still there. Singletary was solid. Jaquan Johnson, he was, if I remember him, he didn't really pan out.
He was okay. Yeah.
Looking at, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3. Scroll down again.
2020.
To 2020. Yep. I mean, Zach Moss didn't pan out. I mean, he was a thumper though. Epinesa didn't pan out, but a big game Dave. I mean, that one season you guys had, he had some huge catches. I mean, like
I would say for a 4th round pick, he was.
Yeah, I mean that was a good pickup. I mean, Tyler Bass was solid. What is going on with Tyler Bass?
He's back. He had injury, but we'll see what happens. I'm still concerned about him. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, there were some big time contributors. You know what I mean? Gabe, you can't complain. I mean, barring injury, I mean, Gabe Davis, he had some big games for you guys.
He had moments.
He really did. Epinesa Funny. He's talking with the Dolphins now. Let's see, but
He is. Yeah.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that right?
yep.
Yeah. He went
Well,
in for
his
an
value
interview.
just got diminished with what happened in Cleveland. So somebody's going to have a pretty serviceable player
Yeah.
for that money, in my opinion.
Yeah, because they gave him a $5 million for one, so his money might have dropped to about 3.5, 4 maybe. I mean, with who knows, with incentives or something, But no, you're right. Like even and I also look where you draft the player, the production, and where you draft. Right. So Gabe Davis, yes, he didn't work out to be the quality 2, but if you look at his overall production, it was good for a round 4 player that we probably didn't have really super high expectations for. Tyler Bass, until he, had his funky year where he just, I don't know what happened, but he was a good pick, round 5 for a kicker. Dane Jackson, he didn't have the greatest season last year, but for a depth guy, round 7, dude's still going to be in the league. Someone's going to pick him up. So round 7 for a depth
that's crazy.
piece, that's and
I
AJ
didn't realize he
Epinesa,
was a 7th round pick. Wow.
Yeah, wait till we get down more. You're going to see even more. So 2021. Now here's a blunder again. Now this is one I don't know if I'm blaming Beane or blaming McDermott or blaming both. I'll probably put it on both. You get Groot in the first, which I love because I felt like the guy had major upside. Very young at the time, but he was raw. He was, and we for some reason like project players. And he was a perfect guy. He had all the tools in the shed, which I still feel like, I don't know if we've seen the best yet out of Groot. And he's like Dustin said earlier, I think he was number 1 against the rush last year for edges. So very good rush defender. He's also towards the top of the list at quarterback pressure rate. He's just not getting home. So maybe this new scheme, maybe we'll see better production in those sacks. But I still feel like that's a good late round, first round. I think it was 28th pick. I'm all good with that. Like, I don't know why people think that's a bad pick at 28. Now, here's the bad pick. You go back-to-back edge, and you get Boogie Basham. I have no idea what they were thinking. The only thing I could think of, Dustin, tell me if you agree or disagree. Boogie Basham was in college for quite a bit. Older player, and I feel like they thought Groot would take a little bit more time, and Boogie was pro-ready, meaning Boogie would probably start over Groot first year until Groot found his way, and it just didn't work that way. Do you feel like that's what they were kind of going with there, Dustin? Like, what was
if we're trying to find some solace in a horrible decision, then I guess that could be it.
That's the only thing I could think
of.
The
reality is, I just think it's a miss, dude. I just think it's a miss.
Terrible pick.
Probably like, we're going to show the world we see something about this guy that nobody else does, or something.
Great nickname.
We're gonna, great nickname.
The nickname is great.
There's a lot of nicknames on defensive linemen this year. I hope they don't go after nicknames.
We're just going after a cool nickname, guys.
Yeah. You got Big Mac. Although I like them. You got the Big Citrus or something, right? Too. You got a bunch of names.
Right.
I just think it was a miss, dude. I mean, that's all.
It was absolutely. So here's round 3, Captain D, and I know you. Maybe you know, maybe no, but Spencer Brown.
Yep.
One of the better tackles in the NFL.
Absolutely.
Bills Mafia, by the way, and I'm sure Dustin knows about this, was calling this dude a bust, a bad pick, terrible pick, because his first 2 years was shaky because he had the back injury, and he just couldn't get on the field. And when he did, it wasn't quite there yet. But I always said, and I believe in this big time, when you draft players, you got to develop them. If you don't have a good coaching staff for player development, these guys are never, for the most part, especially guys that are still kind of raw, and Spencer Brown, Gregory Rousseau, these are raw players that weren't at their position very long. They need the right guidance. They need the right guy. Spencer Brown was under Bobby Johnson for the first 2 years. Then we brought in Aaron Cromer. And what do you know? Spencer Brown wound up being an absolute beast. Year 1 under Aaron Cromer, when he got the back surgery, got to work with Cromer, and was an absolute stud. Has been a stud since. That is a phenomenal pick at round 3 for Spencer Brown, and it shows you what coaching is all about. Shows you everything you need to know right there about what a bad coach can do about player development and what a good coach can do with player development. So Tommy Doyle, bad, obviously I feel bad for that guy. I believe he got I think he's out of the league now, right? Got hurt. I think that's the guy that had the ACLs over and over.
Yeah. I think
right. So, Marquez Stevenson, bad pick. I had high hope for him. DeMar Hamlin, I don't know, it was a terrible pick, round 6, whatever. And then Wild Goose. So what do you think about this draft, Dustin? Overall, I mean, you got a couple.
I think
players
it's two.
there,
I think
starters.
it's 2 players. DeMar Hamlin, to me, I know. He's. I hate
the story
bad.
now.
I actually,
I do too. It's so weird.
Literally feel bad talking bad. I don't mean it that way, but he's just not a player. He's going to be a practice squad guy, in my opinion. I don't think he even sees the field this year. So I think it's really 2 guys. I think the 2 guys are very, very good. So I don't know. I'm probably in the C category for this overall.
Yeah,
overall,
I'm with you, and I think this was the worst draft I think I had graded was the 2021 draft because of the boogie and really everyone outside of Groot and Spencer Brown. But you do got 2 starters right there that have been on this team that actually got extensions, and that matters to me too. Like, did these players stay and did they get extended? They did. So those are hits, but I'm with you. I think this is the worst one for me. This is probably like a C- maybe. 2022 comes, all right? Now, here's the kicker, right? Captain D and Dustin, Kyer Elam. Oh, man. One, I don't know why they drafted him because he didn't fit our scheme, but whatever. They did. Okay, that's a bad pick. Did not work out. James Cook. Now, somebody said earlier we don't draft good in the round 2. Well, there we go, right? You got your star running back, James Cook. That's an excellent pick. Terrell Bernard, I think the verdict's still out on him. I like him, but he's just undersized. That's the only issue I have with him. Injuries pile up. He was, but he's I think he's playing out of position, if I could be fair, and I think that's what's kind of, cost him a little bit. We'll see what they do with him, but I don't think he's a bad player at all. They did extend him. He had his moments here. I just think injuries have kind of messed them up a little bit. Khalil Shakir, round 5. It's a great fucking pick.
Take it.
Great pickup. Now, we got Matt Ariza, punt god, who would have been an excellent pick. He was. I feel terrible for him. That was an awful situation. Yes. I think the Bills did mishandle that at the end. I agreed what they did in the beginning, but they should have somehow kept him on the roster, or at least brung him back at some point once everything got settled. And they didn't. I feel like they fumbled the ball. Yeah, they fumbled the ball there on him. And like I said, I feel bad for him, but I don't hate the pick. He's a good punter. Christian Benford, top 10 corner in my opinion. I don't care what anyone says. That's a great pick. That makes up for round 1 because if you swap Benford with Elam, nobody's complaining. Nobody, right? Am I right, Captain D? If you swap them, now I know I get Elam was a bad pick, but you're not expecting Christian Benford round 6, right, to pan out to be a top 10 corner in the league. So you could do that. Drafts are funny that way. I feel like he made up for it. So that's kind of why the Kyer Elam isn't really talked about too much, I don't think, right? It's not really brought up too much.
I think other than Elam, this was a great draft. I mean, Cooks went accordingly in round 2. Terrell Bernard, he's a serviceable linebacker. Shakir, great steal at round 5. Ariza, it didn't work out, but the talent is there. And Benford in the 6th round. I mean, I need to do research on that to see how. I mean, that was great value, more than a great value pick right there. Balin Spector. Isn't he like a backup for you guys or something like that? I don't remember. Okay,
like a practice squad guy.
I call him BS. He's always hurt though. I don't care for him too much. BS. I don't even call him his vice name anymore. So that's a solid draft. I mean, by the way,
solid draft.
James Cook, who's arguably right now at least top 5 running back, right? I mean, he led the league in rushing this year, led the league in touchdowns the year prior. I think it's safe to say he's a top 5 running back at this point. So that's now you get one of the best running backs there. 2023 comes Dalton Kincaid, Osiris Torrance, Dorian Williams, Justin Shorter, bad pick, but it's round 5. Who cares? McBride, don't even know where that guy went. Broker and Alex Austin, who I think is still in the league. Osiris Torrance, absolute stud. Dude, that guy's only getting better. Great pick. Dalton Kincaid, when healthy, really good pick. I have no problem with him. Yeah. Dorian Williams, round 3, probably going to be our starting linebacker this year.
Correct.
That worked out. Yeah, so this is a good draft. You guys say that he doesn't draft well in the early part of the draft. Where there's that proves you wrong there. First 3 are probably starters, right? Because I think Dorian's going to probably get that job. So that's a good draft. What do you think, Dustin?
I agree.
Solid draft.
Yeah. I think not as good as 22.
Nope.
But very good draft overall. I mean, I think isn't Shorter still on the? Isn't he still on the squad?
Boy, no. I thought he went somewhere. I thought he had potential, man, but he from Florida. He just couldn't put it together. McBride. I don't even know about McBride,
but I don't know anything about McBride either, to be honest with you. But the top 3 guys are good enough for me. Osiris Torrance is going to be one of the highest paid guards in another 15 months, if not even. So I mean, that's a win. That's a win. And Dalton Kincaid is all pro if he's healthy.
Exactly. We're almost done, guys. 2024.
Wait, hold on. Real side note here. Alex Austin is going to be Alex Austin, 7th round draft pick for the Buffalo Bills.
I know he's somewhere.
Is currently a Dolphin. He is going to be fighting
I knew
for
he
a
was
starting
somewhere.
position.
There you go.
Oh, really? Fighting for a starting
Dolphins.
position.
Hey, good for him.
There you go.
Well,
see, notch up on Beane. If that guy starts, that's a notch up.
Absolutely. 2024 draft, right? We got Keon Coleman, who it's not looking good, but we'll see. Cole Bishop. Here's another guy.
Stud.
And I was down on him at first. I'm not going to lie. I was concerned. Injuries right away. When he did get his time on the field, he looked shaky, gave up some big plays early on. But boy, has he tightened up, has he gotten way better. Probably our best defensive player last year, Cole Bishop. And he's super young, still getting better as a safety. That is a solid pick at round 2. Absolutely a stud of a player. And still, not even reached the ceiling yet. So love that pick. Dwayne Carter, I hated it then. Hate it now. Do not like that pick. That's another guy. That's a McDermott pick, guys. McDermott loves like the Boogie Bashams, the Dwayne Carter, these guys that have been around, these like leaders, good guys that were on college teams forever or pro ready. That's what they thought they were getting in Dwayne Carter. That's what they thought they were getting in Boogie Basham. He's not it. I know they're continuing to try with him, guys, but I just don't see it. What do you see in him, Dustin? Do you see any positive
well, he was hurt,
outlook
right?
for Dwayne?
Didn't he get hurt?
Yeah, but he had not right away. Not year one.
He was injured last.
He was hurt last year.
He was injured last year.
Yeah.
I don't know. It remains to be seen. I don't know if any of these guys. I think we're now getting into the time frame where, with the exception of a 1, maybe 2 pick, do you really expect to see tremendous immediate production? I mean, obviously it happens, as we've just seen. It does happen, but I think I'm still out on Dwayne Carter, and meaning I don't know yet. I give him a little bit of time, I guess, is what I'm saying. Maybe another year, and if there's still zero production, then I'll say, okay, the trial period is over. But this draft as a whole here, listen, you got some pretty solid backups here still on this team. Grable's just waiting for his chance. He might get some playing time. Solomon showed some flashes. Maybe not very consistent, but he showed some flashes. Ufosio, kind of a nothing maker, but Vampire and Granger, There were talks just a couple of weeks ago that he was going to be some serious trade bait before the draft because he's got the ability and talent there, even though he might not get his playing time. So, and then Ray Davis, all pro kick returner.
Yeah, and a good
solid,
RP too.
Third string running back. So I'm
2 or 3.
I think this is pretty good. Yeah, 2 or 3, depending on how you look at him and Ty Johnson.
Right.
And then Keon Coleman. Again, I still think he's going to have a good year. So not round 1 potential, but
I
think he's one of the better ones, to be honest with you. And it's so infant that it's tough to tell really what these guys will be.
I'm with you. I think it's once you're getting in these kind of years, it's still there is a question mark on most of these guys. The only reason I just don't have faith in Carter is just his age, his injury history already, what I saw from him early on. Just, I think, especially if the Bills do draft a defensive tackle, like it's just, I don't see the room for him. You know what I mean? And coming off an injury like that too. And I don't know. I'm just not sold on him. SVP is interesting. That's interesting for trade bait. If you're looking for a center, that guy's he came out of Georgia as a true center. He was a beast in Georgia. Maybe a team. You guys need a center, Captain D? He's a good player.
I mean, we have a good solid one right now.
Okay.
But
just checking on you.
I like that draft right there. That was
pretty solid.
That's why I asked about Keon Coleman earlier. I think he's got a world of talent. It's just harnessing that. Ray Davis it can be a real pain in the ass to deal with. Cole Bishop seems like he's on pace to do well. I like that draft right there.
And then, of course, last year, I probably don't even need to pull this up, but it was Maxwell Harrison, which these are all question marks, by the way, because this is last year. But Harrison has upside. I'm not, worried about him. I don't know why it says 80 on Mitchell. Who else did we get in that draft? Yeah, it's way off. I don't know. Look, you can't always trust AI. Who did we draft last year? It was Maxwell Harrison, who has upside. You had TJ Sanders, who we'll see. You had Dwayne, what's his name? He was one of our better players. Deion Walker, who looks like he has potential to be a Landon Jackson. Boy.
Yeah. What did he play? 10 snaps?
Then tore his Achilles. So that one was a bad
and the whole thing. Yeah.
That's a bad pick. And at first I was excited. Remember that, Captain D? Curtis was all, our buddy who's on the AFC Shakedown. I remember the day before we drafted him was like, man, this guy, Landon Jackson. And I'm like, who Landon? I looked him up and I'm like, okay, he looks like he has potential. He's a freak kind of athlete.
Yeah,
but dude, I didn't know his history. He had like ACL multiple in high school and college. Like this dude was constantly like, and you're drafting a guy that's raw on top of it with ACLs that are prior in high school. And boy, when I saw him in preseason, I'm like, like it did not, he looked like a guy that needed a lot of work. And then he got hurt right away when he did get an opportunity. I don't see it, man. I don't see it in him because of the injuries, because of, that he missed a lot of time where he could have been working on his game. I don't see a good outcome with that pick, and that's okay. He was a 3rd round, 4th round draft pick. Yeah, it is what it is. So overall, I would say Brandon Beane has done a good job. Not great in drafting, but once again, if I were to really go over all the draft picks from 2018 for every team, you're going to see a lot of bust. You're going to see a lot of players that did not work out. I'm sure, Captain D, there's a lot of players since 2018 that you could think of that just didn't pan out, right?
Yeah.
And you guys were getting early picks, right? Look at the Jets. Look at the Dolphins. Look at the Saints. All these teams with top 10 draft picks and they're still on the bottom, right? They're still trying to find their way on top. So, it's just the way it works. But anyways, guys, what else, Cam? Do you got anything else before we get out of here on your team? Any expectations? What's your expectations going into the 2026 season? And then I'll ask Dustin the same thing about our team.
Oh man, Expectations are building a good, solid foundation. Building a good, solid foundation from the inside out. Solidifying the trenches, getting somebody on the offensive line or defensive line. I'm hoping that Dolphins will trade. I always get this confused. Trade up. We're going to trade our pick up and possibly.
You want to be aggressive?
No, no. Wait a minute. I'm trying to trade back. Is it
down?
Is it up?
Okay, you're trying to acquire more picks.
I'm trying to acquire more picks here.
Which seems like, and by the way, I hate to cut you off. It seems like what I've heard. This is probably going to be the most trades you see in a draft in quite some time. Teams trying to trade down. It's wild. So that tells you a lot. So I don't know, but yeah, it seems like everyone's trying to trade down. Terrible.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm trying to trade down, get some more picks, get some more assets. I think, with that 11th pick, somebody like the Steelers or somebody could sweep in and maybe grab a wide receiver, get in there. But I think, actually, I'll make a prediction now. The Dolphins are going to trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers, which hold the 21st pick in the NFL draft, and the Dolphins will select.
Do they have a quarterback? Who's their quarterback now?
Mason Rudolph right now.
They didn't get anybody, right? So because Aaron Rodgers hasn't made his mind up if he's coming back, and I don't even know if they'll. Yep. So wow, they need a quarterback, huh? That's interesting.
They need a quarterback. They need a wide receiver badly.
So that could be a team that's aggressive if they feel, but there's just not quarterbacks here. Boy, Pittsburgh, what are you doing?
Yeah, and they've got two second-round picks. So I'm predicting that we make a trade, and with the 21st pick, the Dolphins are going to choose Keldrick Falk from Auburn, defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
He's young,
the edge.
20 years old.
Yes, but yeah.
Bendy.
He can stop the run. We play Buffalo. We play in the cold. We play the Patriots. We play the Jets. We need somebody that can stop the run, have some aggression on that defensive line. That's who I have the Dolphins picking. He's super young. He's 20 years old. He's going to turn 21 in September.
Okay.
He's been a team leader on Auburn as a sophomore. Good leadership.
Makes sense.
If we can trade down, pick up another second-round pick, get some wide we have, and maybe keep the pick at 30 in the first round also, and pick up another second-round pick. Why not? We can get a wide receiver, maybe get some linebacker help. There's a lot. We need cornerback. There's a lot of help that we need right now.
Gotcha. So expectations are you just want to see a good draft. You want to see some potential in your quarterback this upcoming season. Gearing up for year 2, basically. You want to see that the players they drafted have are the right guys. Yeah, I get it. Because where do you see your guys' win total? Realistically.
Realistically, I see this team as possibly a 4-16 win. That realistically, this defense. I mean, depending on even if we draft lights out, which is, that's tough. We were just looking at the Buffalo Bills. It's tough. We're looking at 3 to 4 players, 3 players if you're lucky in each draft that will make an impact. So it's very, very difficult. Now we have 11 technically right now. We could have more if we make some trades, but 11 right now for sure. If we can hit on 3 or 4 that can possibly make a difference, that'll be great. But that's not,
I wonder if teams are going to be willing to trade for next year's picks instead of this year. Meaning,
absolutely,
fuck it. We don't want it. We'll trade down, but give me instead of giving something this year, give me your first next year, your second next, because of the quality of players coming out in next year's draft, especially if they're looking for a certain position. So, all right, and we're going to get out of here. Dustin, I want your thoughts on what is your, what do you see the Buffalo Bills, where do you see this team going in 2026? What's your expectations?
I think with my expectation is from now until the end of Josh Allen's career is going to be Super Bowl or nothing. However, I think that with the schedule, I think the AFC East champion may have 10 or 11 wins. I don't think that it's going to be a 14, 15 or more win season for anybody in that division. We have a rough schedule. Let's just call it what it is. We don't know when we're playing who now, but the opponents are obviously out, and it sucks. And I went through that on my channel a couple days ago. I think we have the 6th or 8th hardest schedule based on opponents' win percentage of last year. So that doesn't help. When I say we, I mean the Bills. I don't know where the Dolphins lie, but almost all the AFC East is up there because we generally play the same opponents, of course. So
we got So I'll pull that up while you're talking, so we can.
Yeah. So that said, I expect a new look and excitement. We have a brand new stadium, which is bringing its own luster and allure to this upcoming season. I expect Jim Leonard to have the Buffalo Bills come out like absolute freaking maniacs on the defensive side of the football. That's what I expect. And then sprinkle it in a little bit with Joe Brady. Actually, I do believe there's something to be said that Sean McDermott held down Joe Brady a tad with play calling and opening up the field. I think that we see a little bit more, even maybe you can call it chances being taken on the offensive side of the football, a little bit.
Yeah,
opening the field up a little bit. I'm not saying crazy, but I'm saying that I do think that Joe Brady was told, "Oh, you better slow it the fuck down here," more than once by Sean McDermott throughout the last couple seasons.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's what I expect, and I'm so on board for it. I want to see the Bill, but I'm most excited for the defense. The offense shouldn't go backwards, not even a one, not at all.
No,
but the defense should take leaps and bounds. And I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I'm with you. If anything, the offense has actually gotten better, which clearly it has when you add DJ Moore, who's a true number one now. We lost David Edwards, which is look, he's good, but I don't think he was the best guard in the league. I think we'll be okay there. Outside of that, I mean, we're only getting better. I think our points are going to go up on offense. Actually, like you said, I think. We're going to take, I think our route tree will be better. Our scheme's going to be a little bit different. So here's the opponents, and this is where it gets rough. So home, we don't know the actual, obviously, the times, the dates yet, and all that stuff. But home games, you got the Dolphins, you got the Patriots. The Dolphins, no disrespect, but, we should be able to win their Academy. But you never know. It's a division game. But you got New England. Obviously, they're getting better. They're doing things the right way. And really, Miami, that's what you kind of want to do, right? Like, that's exactly how you rebuild. Like, they're doing it, the proper way. You just got to find that franchise quarterback. Could it be if Malik Willis is that guy, you're on the right track. If because of what you're doing. But anyways, the Jets, they're terrible. I have the Chiefs are going to be back. Okay, let's be real. You got Patrick Mahomes coming back. That's always going to be a tough game. The Chargers are a tough game. The Bears now are tough. The Lions are tough. The Ravens are tough. So you got some tough games there. That's at home. You got the Lions are no pushover. The Ravens are no pushover. The Bears, the Chargers, the Chiefs, right? The Patriots. And then you got away. You got the Dolphins, Patriots, Jets, but you got the Broncos. You got the Packers. You got the Vikings, who are okay, but they should be better. You got the Texans. You got the Rams. Like, that is a tough schedule. You're going against juggernauts. It's some offense. Not only that, you're going against a elite defense in Houston, right? You're going against elite offenses in the Rams. And the who else? And the Lions and the Ravens, right? The Bears are starting to trend that direction. It's like, that is not an easy schedule. So realistically, for me, if you can win 11, that's a good season with that schedule. So I would say around 11, 12 is where I'm at. We'll see. It's going to be really interesting to see what this defense is about. But we're a playoff team. Regardless, we're a playoff team, and that's all that matters. And once you're in the dance, you go from there, right? So I think that's it for tonight, man. We went on long, 2 hours and 30 minutes, man. Any last words? Dustin, where can they find you at, man?
Yeah, Cold Front Buffalo on YouTube, TikTok as well. And we're on X as well, which is Cold Front Buffalo Reels. So appreciate all of you guys.
Don't go on the Cold Front fake, by the
D.
way.
What?
I'm going Cold Front. Don't go Cold Front Buffalo fake. A joke. You said real. So.
Oh, yeah. Don't go to the fake one. On X. Yes, correct.
Those damn bastards trying to beat Dustin. Don't you do it. Go ahead,
right.
So.
Everybody. No, I appreciate it, Tommy. Thank you as always.
Yeah,
dude, man. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, man. So yeah, definitely go over to Cold Front, man. Subscribe over there. He's growing channel. He's growing fast. Dude is putting the work in. He goes live pretty much daily. And yeah, man, good stuff over there, man. Appreciate you hopping on tonight with me, Dustin, man. Captain D, any last words, brother?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. This was nice. I am not on social media a whole lot, but you can catch me every season. We do the AFC Shakedown with my boy here, Tommy, and you can catch me on there. I usually am on there giving my input and stuff like that week to week, what's going on with the Dolphins. Cold Front Buffalo, it was very nice meeting you. We had great conversations about Buffalo and the Dolphins. Thank you for everyone who tuned in tonight. It was awesome on a Friday night. It was fun.
Yep. Oh, damn. You know what? I real quick, Dustin, I'll run over this real quick. I forgot about this. The 25 best NFL draft picks for Buffalo. What do you feel about this list real quick? And then we'll get out of here. Wide receivers. They got Omar Cooper Jr., Denzel Boston, KC, Jeff Caldwell, Malik Benson. What do you think about those guys? Any guys that you would prefer? You don't have to make it last long. Just
Concepcion.
Concepcion on this list would be the guy.
Concepcion.
Okay.
Or Malik Benson. That's like a late round pick, isn't it? I think he's a.
Yeah, they're just
wait. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I would take out definitely Concepcion, but I don't want him at 26. I would take out Denzel Boston. I don't think that's the type of receiver we need. I really think Jeff Caldwell could be a sleeper, though.
Okay.
That's
so
a
your top pick.
That's a 4.3 speed. Who's like 5th round or 6th round projection. So
which wouldn't be bad.
Watch out for Jeff Caldwell. And I just did a mock draft the other day on my channel, and I picked him up, I think, in the 5th round. And then I started to look at him more, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I think that could be something there. Watch out for that guy's game wherever he goes, Jeff Caldwell. Yep. Gotcha. You hear that, Captain D? Put that name in your brain. Yeah. All right. Edge rushers. So here's the edges they got. Okay, I like Malachi Lawrence. He's a lot like Falk that Captain D was talking about. And I think I said earlier, look out for Caden Curry. And I think I said USC for some reason. Ohio State. But he's also like a 6th round talent at edge that could really be productive. But I would go Malachi Lawrence for sure out of UFC. I'm with you. But frankly, if you're in the 32 to 35 range, it might be a pick that the Bills could trade back and go with their first pick. I think he could land at that number. Okay, that's good. You got cornerbacks the Bills should target. Mm-hmm. There's some. Malik Muhammad out of Texas. Mm-hmm. I like him. He's a much early round guy, probably late 2nd to mid 3rd, I think, in my opinion. Colton Hood, I like him as well. And then TJ Hall, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think TJ Hall is kind of the late 6th, 7th round guy that you could take a flyer on. I don't know much about the other two, to be truthful. Okay. Defensive tackle. Here we go. And McDonald's for me. My guy. These are all my dudes. I like Lee Hunter's really good too. McDonald's not there. If you trade back and you can get him at like 35, 37, depending on where you pick, I like it. Rashad Bennery, Brandon Cleveland. I actually would like to throw another name in this bucket. Sure. Late rounder. Tim Keenan the third out of Alabama. True one tech nose tackle that I think would fit the bill for the scheme that Jim Leonard brings. So if it's going to be late and they take a D tackle, I'd like to see Tim Keenan. Okay. On the receivers, I'd like to add Brazil as well. I think he has a lot of upside.
And they got interior offensive line. Any of these guys you like?
Is my guy on there? No, my guy from Iowa's not on there. Truthfully, I can't speak much about. Well, Kalen Rutledge, I like him. And the other guys, I haven't done much research on.
The
offensive line.
I know.
Truthfully.
That's all right. I know Rutledge too. And that's it. So I just wanted to go over that list real quick.
Yeah.
So your pick, Captain D, real quick before you get out of here. Who's your guy? You're the one guy you want in this draft. Who would it be again?
Oh, I mean, I would love that corner from LSU. I might butcher his name. Delane, I think his name is. I would love him, but I do feel like the Dolphins are going to be trading out of that pick. Someone's going to get a little happy feet and trade in, and they will select defensive end out of Auburn, Kendrick Falk.
You heard it here, folks. Captain D's calling it. So we're out of here, man, because I kept my dude Dustin on way too long. He's getting tired. I know he is. So.
Yeah, you bet your ass I am.
So, guys, next week I am going live for the draft. I'll be here Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Captain D may join us, pop in, which would be fun. I think I also talked to Anthony, who's on the AFC Shakedown for the Jets. He's probably going to pop on, just to, let us know how he's feeling. And front, Dustin, if you're free, if you're not live, if whatever you want to hop on one of those days, just let us know what you feel about one of the picks or whatever. Obviously, you're always welcome to jump on the channel. So we'll be here day 1, day 2, and day 3. So we're out of here, man. Bills Mafia, we love you. As always, go Bills. Peace.
Just let your soul go. Just let it shine.